Yo. It's Grapsody with Will, Phil, and Reg, trying to keep it real instead of what you usually get from these talking heads. It's Grapsody, we're here to fill the void. 3 black fans, different perspective, got to fill your voice. Coming with the podcast, talking majors, indies in between. Yeah, it's all that, and we're down with Fightful, better fall back. Coming for respect, we connect like a ball bat. No need to double check, these are all facts. You're listening to us talk raps. You're listening to us talk raps. Will, Phil, and Reg. Yeah, we're Grapsody, here to talk raps. Yeah, we're Grapsody, here to talk raps.
Yeah, we're Grapsody, here to talk graps. Welcome to Grapsody. It is Saturday. It is March 19th, 2022. And I am Will Washington. And I'm not alone here. I am back at home for the first time in 2 weeks, 3 weeks. For the first time in 3 weeks, I am actually doing a show from my house. But also here is Mr. Philip Lindsey.
Hey, yo. You know who I am, but you do not know why I'm here. Well, of course you know why I'm here. I'm here to host a podcast. What's going on, y'all?
And also Righteous Reg.
In the building, it's your boy Double R, your favorite rapper, your favorite writer, your favorite podcaster. In the building, I make CM Punk cry. You know the fucking deal. It's your boy Righteous Reg, Grapsody, Saturday morning, early. You know the fucking drill. What's up, y'all? What's good with y'all today?
And I officially know what early means because having now done a show on the West Coast,
right?
I now know getting up early and doing the show and being ready for the show. That hour makes a huge difference. And on top of that, daylight savings time now. Although next year daylight savings may be permanent, which is good. Because let's be honest, none of this really makes a difference. Time is just what time you say it is.
Exactly. I could
really
be like it's
matter.
7:30 right now, and it doesn't matter. That does, they're like, okay, well, it doesn't matter. It's all fucking time. It's all dumb. It's time.
Yeah. So
I don't know. Getting up in the dark is kind of depressing, though. You want to see some sun when you get up, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess we'll see how that goes, and maybe there's a generation who'll complain about it, and they'll be like, you know what we need to be able to switch the time in the middle of the year.
Right, yeah. That makes so much sense.
And then
switch the time.
Yeah, and then we'll be back here. But yeah, I'm happy. I'm back after a great little vacation. And being in LA for the last week was fun. I'm sick now. I don't know why.
Cali,
this happens every time I get back. Okay, so I asked Phil about this, and I want to ask the Grapsody faithful here because I learned something while I was in Los Angeles, right? So some people know, maybe you don't, but I grew up in LA. I was born in LA. I say grew up, but like I moved when I was like 8, so yeah. I don't know what you can really call that. But anyway,
still on the line.
Yeah. It's like my brother can say he grew up because my brother's 4 years older than me because like middle school was really where we moved, whereas like my formative years were like kind of a mix between here in Colorado and Los Angeles. But anyway, so for the first time in 24 years, we drove by my old elementary school at my old house. I had not been there in forever.
Wow.
And so I've been to LA multiple times. Literally was in LA 2 weeks ago or like a month ago for the New Japan show. But for whatever reason had avoided going by our old house. But finally did it this time on this trip. And we went by my old elementary school and, we're just taking a look at it, just walking around. It was cool. And I was like, oh, I remember all of this. I remember these benches over here where they would sit us when we got in trouble. And I remember this. And I remember these handball courts and this here. And my kids are like, what's handball? And I said, you guys ever play handball? Like, it's handball. Everybody knows handball. And my wife's like, I don't know handball. And I'm like, no.
Handball? What is going on here?
I don't know what that is either.
Right. And so I'm like, y'all don't know handball? What is this? And so later that day, we have dinner with Denise Salcedo, right? And she's also from LA. And we're talking about handball. And she's like, yeah, handball. Everybody knows handball. And I'm like, yeah, exactly. Everybody knows handball.
Baby.
And then that's when it hits me. I'm like, wait, I don't remember playing any handball once I moved to Colorado. Is that just a California thing? Is that a thing only California kids know? And so, of course, so I know Reg from Cali. Easy ask. Hey, handball? And Reg, like, I was like, describe what handball is. And Reg described it the exact same way I know it, right? And then, same question, Phil, describe what handball is. Phil did not describe it. And Reg then let me know that it is possibly a New York thing as well. Because they're even saying in the chat, Life of Deem and Kyle saying in the chat that he's also played handball.
Yep, I hear a lot of New Yorkers, like I was saying. Nori on Drink Champs talks about playing when he was young. He still plays actually on his Instagram. You can catch him sometime. And very famous wrestler smokes weed to hit the big spot. Grim Reaper said in an interview that he stays in the shape that he does because of handball. So
riding up the street and riding past the park and seeing Nori in there playing handball sounds hilarious.
Crazy. It's crazy. You got to go on his IG and see it. He has a little basketball shorts, talking about handball gloves. Yeah, handball, man. There's a big wall. There's a ball. You slap the ball. You got to run and touch the wall. It's like some crazy. I legit haven't played in more than 20 years, but like that was a thing in junior high and elementary schools. Handball. I thought that was, everybody in the game. But look, as I'm seeing, it's only a couple of us out here that are down with the handball.
Yeah.
Well, you're doing that in Chicago, bro.
It's too fucking cold out in Chicago. That's why you can't go outside.
I mean, it is a very outdoor game. Like, if you don't have kind of an outdoor climate like all the time, I can't see why your elementary school would like dedicate anything to handball. But like LA, they got literal handball walls. Like just a straight up dedicated handball wall. And so when I said it, I just said it instinctively. I was like, oh look, it's the handball walls. And like I said, my kids were like, the what? I was like, the handball wall. We play handball. Y'all play handball? What is like no, we
many
play
rap videos from LA feature handball walls, man. Handball was
I've never known what those are until I was looking up stuff and you guys were talking about it in chat, and I was like, that's what those walls are for?
Handball walls, baby. Let's go. I don't know. Kelly was out here like that. Like, no, we got handball. We got palm trees. We got weed. And we got handball, baby. What you want?
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Nah, it was a fun trip, though. I got to go to Universal. And I was really mad that the Simpsons ride is closed right now. And because, like, that was the whole reason I wanted to go. Like, I was talking it up the whole car ride. We're like, all right, well, first thing we're going to do, we're going to hit that Simpsons ride, and then we're going to hit blah, 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 blah. And then we get there, and, like, the big sign, Simpsons ride closed. And I'm like, what you mean the Simpsons ride is closed? That's the best ride.
That's the ride.
Yeah, that's the ride to go to at Universal Studios. Simpsons ride is closed right now. It's closed for renovations. Apparently, it's going to become better. But that'll do nothing for me, who was there on that day, who paid to see Simpsons ride.
You'll be back.
Yeah, next year they had all the construction stuff up for the Super Nintendo World opening next year.
What now?
Super Nintendo World.
That sounds wild.
Yeah, there's like a big Mario and Luigi and like Pikachu and stuff. Like they got, and it just says coming 2023, and they're gonna have a whole area just dedicated to Nintendo stuff.
That's pretty hot.
Yeah, so I'm like, okay, I'll be back next year. So that was that. That was a fun trip. Anyway,
shout out to that. The whole fam, y'all did like y'all were a family trip, like out there, kids, wife, like. Family, you caught up with some family out there too. Like you were really doing it, man. Really family man willing it out there. That's dope.
Yeah, that's what we did for that vacation.
It was your wife's birthday. It was like you had some birthdays. Like there was all kind of stuff going on, huh?
Yeah, it was her birthday. And
shout out to your wife.
Yeah, all she wanted to do was spend her birthday on the beach. It was cold as hell, but she's like, like it felt like taking an ice bath. As soon as that water hits you,
you can't get in the water, dude. That's
we did
California thing. The beach, stay away from the water. You can go to the beach. We love being at the beach. We don't get in the water though.
No,
It's so
it was
cold
just
in there. It's
we just
freezing.
got our feet wet, but I felt like I was like hypothermia, man. Like I was like, no, there's no goddamn way.
Cold.
I'm staying in this water for more
What beach
than.
were you guys at?
We went to Malibu.
Malibu.
We went to a couple of beaches. Oh my god. Oh, we are so dumb. We were dumb as hell. I'm sorry. I just got a text from my wife. Shit.
You left one of the kids in California. It's crazy. It's like a Home Alone experience right now.
Nah. All right. So we just bought a car yesterday, right?
Oh, that's what's up. We were talking about that in Florida.
Yeah. I just bought a car yesterday. Well, because we had to. We've been a one car family for way too long, and we sold our car to her brother, and we thought we could survive off of one car until the one instance came where her job called her to be somewhere, and my job called me to be somewhere, and we're like, well, coin flip on who's taking an Uber, I guess. But and so we're like, okay, it's time to buy another car again. But anyway, bought a car yesterday. We didn't pick it up from the dealership. We test drove it and everything. They're gonna do a bunch of stuff, and they were supposed to pick it up today. And they called us and said, hey, did y'all take the key by chance? And we're like, no, we didn't take the key. But my wife just texted me. Apparently, she did have the key. So
Or stealing. They're like,
I
we
mean,
don't know if we want to
technically-
associate with people that be stealing.
technically, I put my down payment down. I signed everything.
That's
That
yours.
car, it's mine.
This
but
kid's mine.
but but yeah, there's some other stuff where they're supposed to do before we pick the car up today, and apparently we took the key with us. So
Man, what kind of car did you end up getting?
I got a Nissan Leaf. So
You got that Nissan, huh? That Nissan
Yeah.
made you feel good last time in Florida. Huh?
well, so yeah, but also, what made me feel them California gas prices made me realize I needed to go electric. So
Wish you would
Nissan
not
Leaf.
bring that up on the podcast. I want to spend 2 hours not thinking about gas prices, but
Man,
a lot
it's so
lower.
look, okay, I thought it was bad in Colorado when I see it like inching toward 5, but when I saw that 6 in front in California, I was like,
Awful.
what is happening here?
It hurts my
And-
stomach when I drive down the street and I see the gas station. I'm like, that shit says $6.95, and I'm like, who could survive off of this shit, bro? This
Yeah.
is not. What kind of a fucking game are we playing?
I
Here? I can't.
I'll say this: driving around LA, I thought that there were a lot of Teslas in Denver. Nah, man, they're everywhere in LA.
Yeah,
Everywhere you turn your head. But you know what though? Like, the reason I was considering electric as a whole is because I was calculating, okay, does the car payment outweigh what I would be spending on gas? And like,
Smart.
if it doesn't, then I am at a point where I should be considering electric because these gas prices are insane. And so that's what I did.
Very smart.
Because I'm like, you know what? I don't want to be spending on gas no more every month. I mean, like thinking about every week what I would spend on gas. I gotta find something else. And so, yeah, I went electric, and we'll see how it does. Like, obviously,
Nice.
this ain't something I can drive across the country, but just while driving in the city, taking the kids to school, going to work, easy.
That's what's up.
Hey, you know what else? What's up? Super chats.
Super
and Humper
chats. What's up with them today?
Actually, I'm pointing in the wrong direction. My Humper chats are here. My super chats are here. No, Humper chats are here. Super chats are here. All right, there we go. All right, so I want to read some of the shout outs we got. Van Twinblade, always giving us the indie updates. Always appreciate that from Van
What's good,
Twinblade.
Van Twinblade? What's good today? What's on
Yeah.
the menu?
Glory Pro card update. Mike Outlaw versus Rohit Raju.
I love Rohit Raju, man. He is so smooth in the ring. He doesn't work like a lot of people. His shit is tight. His shit is concise. Very, very good talent. He just got. It hasn't been just got, but he just left Impact Wrestling a little bit ago. So like he's out there trying to tear it up. He's gonna get a big contract or something really good very soon because Duke can go.
Yeah, I enjoyed his run as ex-champion. So
Shout out to Impact Wrestling. They've been doing it again. Here they go again. They've been doing it. Like, they're out there producing some great television, but,
Yeah, we
nobody
didn't really
watching
talk
it.
about it last week, but I thought their last pay-per-view was really good. Shout out to Tasha Steelz winning that Knockouts title. Didn't we have another title change? I think the tag titles changed hands. The Influence one. Yeah, it was actually a really good pay-per-view. PCO versus Jonah was on that card.
Josh Alexander back in the game. Back
What a
at it.
swerve.
That was a big swerve, man. I was tripping on Twitter. I'm like, what is going? Why? How could Josh Alexander possibly just be back at his regular ass job? It doesn't make any sense, man. What's going on here? So
the way they handled it was really good. Him running in afterwards and signing and challenging moves. I thought that was dope.
Super dope.
Also, it says and Jake something versus Ethan Price, and and then talking about STL versus the World. I got Camaro Jackson versus Josh Alexander, Davey Richards versus Samurai Del Sol. That'll be really fun. Damn.
Oh,
wow.
okay. Yeah, okay.
KDL versus Moose, and Silas Young versus Dan the Dad.
Dan the Dad.
That's tough.
So
Tough card. That's gonna be dope. When is that? Did he say?
no. Give us some dates.
Man, Tim Twin Blade. Come on.
Yeah, give us some dates on those. We also got Jennifer says heading to the eye doctor, so missing another episode live. This is becoming a trend. Sorry to miss, but hope you have an amazing show. Much love. Shout out Jennifer. Always appreciate the love, Jennifer.
Shout out Jennifer. Yeah, being able to see is really dope too. So
yeah.
To the doctor. It's pretty important.
And we got Shauna says, finally getting to watch you guys live. I love you guys. I'm still waiting for my episode of Sour Graps with Alex and Reg. Get on it,
y'all.
SRS.
It's coming. Hey, yo, speaking of things that happen on Fightful, 2-0 on Pillar to Post, the guy that invented Pillar to Post, your boy Righteous Reg. No one can beat me. I'm the best in the world, as they say. Bring it on. Bring your mom, bring your dad, bring your little sister, bring whoever you want that you think could go toe-to-toe with your boy, and they're going to lose. So it is what it is. And again, if you got a little trivia show, I'll come on and tear you down. Me and Will Washington, you don't want this. Any trivias, anything. So just
we're looking at you, Russell Talk, Quizzlemania.
Yeah, man, we've been waiting for y'all. They be atting us and everything, and y'all just ignore. I know what's going on here. I know what's going on. SP3, I see you, bro.
Hey, speaking of which, SP3 and I will be he'll be the next guest on Day After Dynamite this Wednesday or Thursday. That show's not on Wednesday. Yeah, me and SP3 will be doing Day After Dynamite this Thursday, so that'll be fun. Let's see. Elijah says, morning brothers, I look forward to watching y'all do your thing every weekend. Crazy seeing so many black stars in one segment yesterday. Main event at that. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that.
We're definitely gonna talk about it.
Yeah. Deontay says the reel is back, the feel is back, the thrill is back. I have a Saturday night off for the first time in 5 years. I'm vibing and thriving. Much love.
That is a long time to not have a Saturday night off. That's crazy.
I know.
5 of them things.
And then Naked Mikey Walton says, definitely played handball up here in Canada.
Let's go to our Canada homies. Yes, that's what's up. Shout out to them.
Chris Sayago says, speaking of Nintendo, word is GoldenEye re-release is coming soon.
Oh yeah, that's gonna go insane. Everybody in the world is going to be on that for sure.
I mean, and the hard thing is that we've gotten like re-releases of GoldenEye that have been like Activision did that one where it was like it's GoldenEye, but we're gonna replace Pierce Brosnan with Daniel Craig, and and like they straight up did. Like it's like this is what GoldenEye would have been like if Daniel Craig started instead of Pierce Brosnan. And it's like, and then we're changing up some of the levels. So it's like GoldenEye, but it's not really the GoldenEye you remember, and it kind of plays like Call of Duty. But it's like it's not GoldenEye. So
lies.
Call of Duty just came and shook up the world. Can't nobody do anything else besides Call of Duty. Shit. I'm surprised they haven't turned a WWE 2K into fucking Call of Duty too. Call of Duty mode. Go to Vince's office with this damn water bottle or some shit. I don't know.
Speaking of which, it's starting to sell me. I will say WWE 2K22, like
Same here, man.
It looks fun.
My Twitter timeline is going. I'm like, yo, I want to be in there too. What y'all doing?
I know. Now I still can't justify full price, especially when I know that like literally end of April there'll be some kind of sale. Like I can't justify full price really for anything unless it's like I was about to say even Halo, but like it's in Game Pass. I have to pay full price for that. But like it's really hard for me these days to justify.
Is that how much? I don't even know if that's how much it is, but
next gen titles are $70 now.
Oh my god, yo, it's crazy. No, I was thinking about that before. How like back in the day, you brought up Super Nintendo, but like Super Nintendo games used to be like $70, and like, Mom, could you give me $70 for a video game? And when she tells you to fuck off, like it makes a lot of sense now. $70 is a lot of dollars, man.
You know, there was one time on Reddit, there was an old 1996 Christmas ad floating around that everybody was talking about, and I looked at it and I went to my mom and I was like, "Mom, why did you buy me these? These were like $70-$80." Like, I'm like, if my kids asked me for an $80 video game, I would have said no.
No, hell no.
Like, no, wait till
my room.
Especially me now, as I mentioned, I work the GameStop. I recognize how quickly stuff drops. So to me, I'm like, it's been that way for the last 15 years. That now I'm a cheapskate. I'm like, nah, don't pay full price for nothing.
That's what I like about Game Pass now too, is because like, yo, you don't have to pay $80 for each of these games. You can get you some $10. And go for it.
Yeah, or like
I don't know how much.
Yeah, it's $14.99, but like shit drops day one on Game Pass too. Like I love Game Pass. I am a big
fan of Game Pass. I was a little salty because I have a physical copy of Guardians, and I was playing something else, and I looked and I was like, oh, it's on Game Pass now. Great.
Yeah, I started that game, and I like it so far. I don't know. How do you like it compared to Avengers?
It's much better than Avengers, in my opinion. I think that the kind of Mass Effect feel to it works better for me than Avengers. I kind of like the story better than Avengers as well. Yeah, I think it's a better game.
All right. Like I said, I got started on it, and I never finished Avengers either. So
yeah, I finished it. I'm a little bit bitter as a Spider-Man fan that Sony gets Spider-Man in their Avengers game and we don't. And I'm so that's my saltiness towards the Avengers game.
I will say though, Spider-Man Miles Morales, that game is dope too. Anyway, we got the Horny Daddy says Nintendo World is going to be a great attraction. I think the icon is what makes it so good too. Does the shirt say "Get Laid"? That is amazing.
The Horny Daddy. Okay, yeah.
Van Twinblade follows up. Glory Pro is tomorrow morning. STL versus the World is April 30th. Come on down to the Lou, people. Also, I'm making brownies for the show right now.
Let's go. It sounds lit at Glory Pro. They got brownies. They got action. They got all kind of shows. It's in the Lou. St. Lunatics. Like, it's lit.
Ryan Lambert says, currently at an airport flying from Chicago to San Francisco for a possible new job opportunity. Sending y'all love.
We about to be neighbors.
Catch the vid later.
Yeah, no, good luck with that, man. SF, it's crazy out there.
Hey, speaking of which, last time I was in Oakland, I went to the
town, baby. March 24th is going down. Righteous Rap Show. It's going to be super lit. I'm about to rap my fucking rap show. March 24th. Elbow Room. Oakland, California. Damn, I love Oakland, man. It's lit out here. That's me. That's my pitch. I'm sorry.
Hey, no. Are you kidding me? I always say if you're in the town, go support Righteous Reg.
Yes.
And then also, I don't know. I was gonna ask. Speaking of video games, last time I was in Oakland, I went to the video game museum. Have you been through there?
It's been closed. Yeah. No, every time I pass by there, it's like not open. But yeah, I've been trying to because they have like a giant sign that's like video game museum. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. But every time I go past there, it's closed.
Yeah, no, it was dope. Like I went through and I don't know. They had like almost perfect timing. Like one of the screens was playing WCW Revenge, but they've got like every cartridge like ever. But then like all the modern games, like everything, and you just walk through, and it's like literally from the start of video games all the way to modern day stuff, arcades, all of it. Like this shit's just playable.
Damn, that's
And
dope. Yeah, I didn't even know it was lit like that in there.
and like they're smart enough to
Let me in. I'm gonna go in there today. Let me in here. Let me in here.
they're smart enough too to like put the older games on like CRT TVs so you can see it how it was originally intended to be seen, and like so you don't really get like the pixelation, you get the CRT effect that smooth things out. This is smart. They got like old magazines and stuff. I was just going through and like picking up old EGM magazines and Game Pros, and like it's cool. It was a good experience. I haven't been though in like I think when I went, that was 2018, so a little under 3 years ago, or a little over 3 years ago. Let's see. We got Wool Hat Demon says, any truth to the rumor that Lacey Evans is returning on the Raw or SmackDown after WrestleMania? I mean, if she's ready to go, but she's not back yet,
she's going.
That's the time to drop her in. There's 3 people rumored to be dropping right around WrestleMania time, and that's Asuka, that is Bailey, and Lacey Evans. So it's crazy that we've been without them for so long.
Asuka, oh my goodness,
yeah, we need to get Asuka back. But yeah, that makes sense for Lacey because didn't she have her like start of her feud with Becky on the Raw after Mania?
Right. Yeah. No, that's how it's going to be. It's going to be so many people are going to be coming back because they filled their spots with celebrities and ring announcers and all kind of crazy stuff for the big show. So yeah, they'll be back when it's time to fill the slots up with actual. Wait, when's the next Saudi show? Because they could go right into that too. I don't know. I think they have one like pretty soon after Mania. So yeah, it's funny. I was talking about on the PWI podcast this week about Stone Cold Steve Austin, and if he feels great coming out of this WrestleMania, whatever he's doing, the Saudi Prince dudes are gonna throw the
don't do it
lag at Stone Cold. Boy, they are gonna throw the dump truck at him. They're like, what's the max that we can offer a wrestler? We need Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Goldberg, Bald Man Grandpa off. It's going down. If he takes one bump at WrestleMania and he's like, ooh, that feels good, he's flying over immediately.
I mean, no, that's the thing though. Austin is really protective of his legacy though, because he had taken bumps. Like
when they say 50 mil, bro, it's gonna be crazy.
Because in 2011 he took a bump, and it was short, but you could have called what he did in 2011 like a match. To be honest, like
that's probably what he's gonna do again, pretty much.
Like the stuff where he and Miz, where like Miz did a bunch of stuff, and he hit him with Luthez presses, he hit him with the elbow drop, and then hit him with the stunner. And I thought, you know what? There's no more than anything Goldberg did. You could have called that a match and just had him pin him, and all of a sudden,
right. But you got to take fear in a jackhammer if you fucking with Billy.
Yeah,
I guess you don't have to because it's Stone Cold. But I'm telling you, Saudi is about to be like bag.
I know.
Please come, hurry.
I know, but like, I'm
glad 1998. That's their favorite. And who's the king of 1998? Fucking Steve Austin. Man.
Come on, man. Do not book that match 30 years too late. Nobody.
They're doing it, Phil.
Come on, man.
Phil. The thing is, Stone Cold
good. He's out there.
The thing about Stone Cold is I appreciate how protective he is of his legacy, because like they booked him in that match in what was it, the Taboo Tuesday 2005, I want to say it was, and they booked him to face Jonathan Coachman, and Austin was like, no, like, and WWE was like, no, it's not going to be like a real match, you're just going to beat up the coach. You do that all the time anyway, and he was straight up like, no, if a bell rings, I'm not doing it. That's
famously why he took his ball and went home with the black match too.
Exactly.
Won't be there, bro.
Yeah,
listen, if you get the itch, Stone Cold, watch Bald Head HBK. You will change your mind, I promise. Bald Head HBK, old ass Undertaker, old ass Kane, barely there Triple H. Like, you'll change your mind.
I think
it's not worth it.
I think about that match a lot. The tag match.
About Bald Head.
Thinking about
all
fucking
the time.
Triple H looking like Goldberg and Shawn Michaels looking like Gilbert, and like
damn.
Like
Our homies went outside. Those are the greatest of all time for this company, and they just.
That was such a sad match. And the hard thing for me too is, like sometimes I'll just get mad about it. I'll just be sitting there and I'm like, Shawn Michaels came out of retirement,
bro.
Y'all had AJ Styles there. There are like so many dream matches y'all could have done.
Bryan Danielson was like, please let me have this match. And they were like, nah, we can't. Like, we don't want to.
Matches in and Numlocks is asking what was the bump in 2011. Like when I say bump, like he literally just knocked down, and then I think it was by Alex Riley and The Miz, and then he ends up making
Riley and The Miz,
and then he ends up coming back. Like I said, what he did with those two, they toss him to the ropes after that, and then he hits a Luthez press, throws the punches, drops the elbow, hits a stunner. Like I said, if he had just pinned him after that, people would have been like, yeah, Stone Cold's back.
Right, like with that Kevin Owens, they're gonna brawl around the ring, punch each other. They're gonna do that same thing with some extra hoopla, and that's it.
Yeah,
back. Saudi Arabia, here I come.
Not a match, guys. KO show, come on, KO show.
Yeah. So
WrestleMania, that card, bros. Oh my goodness gracious! Great balls of fire. Jeez Louise.
Yeah, I just get mad thinking about Shawn Michaels coming back for that, though. And also, the other thing that makes me mad is a month before that, Undertaker Triple H had what I would call like worst match of all time. And a bit at what show was that?
A lot of ground.
Super Showdown. And part of why I thought it was so bad was, I was a big fan of WrestleMania 28 and just as a whole show. And what those two did at WrestleMania 28, and I thought the feud was great going into it. I thought it was way better than the feud in 2011. I thought the idea, Hunter getting mad every time somebody implied Shawn was better, and Shawn being like, "Why is that? Why do you get mad at that?" I was like, "That's good shit. Like, I like that shit, right?"
I always like the Triple H Undertaker matches because Triple H is the boss, and there was always a chance that he could win because he's the boss. So,
yeah,
it wasn't one of those Undertaker like, oh, he's going to beat this guy. It's like, no, Triple H could really pull an audible and beat this guy. Here, so.
I know. I like those too. Yeah, and I love that last moment down the Go Home show where Undertaker grabbed the mic and was like, "If you're ever wondering if Shawn Michaels is better, he is," and then walked off. And
we've seen it, Triple H. You can try as hard as you want, but it's fucking Shawn Michaels. Even bald head Shawn Michaels is lit.
But I will say, so like those two, I think, had an understanding of each other of what they could do in the ring. The problem is, I think their understanding was 10 years too late because what they tried to do in that match at Super Showdown. They went out there for like 30 minutes. That was the other thing too. They tried to do like marathon Taker and Triple H, and it was just a fucking disaster.
It's so long. You guys are not supposed to be doing this.
I know.
It's been way too many years, dude. You guys need to give it up.
Y'all are cooked, bro. Like, come on, though. Cut it out.
Yeah. That was the moment that it was like, you know what? Washed.
That's why I'm happy they're putting Undertaker in the fucking Hall of Fame because maybe they'll finally stop calling him for matches.
They did the big retirement at Survivor Series. Taker said not coming back after that. Not doing it. Now
it's okay.
I know the problem is it is pro wrestling and
it's pro wrestling, bro.
The thing about pro wrestling
money come call, and wrestlers are like, if he goes and sit home for 2 years and he's like, you know what, man, I'd like to really try it again. They're gonna accept him back with open arms.
Don't do it. You ain't gotta do that, Ram. You ain't gotta do that, Ram.
I can have one more run. All I gotta do is choke slam somebody. That's easy. I don't even have to leave my feet. Yeah, it's always in the works.
Yeah. So let's get into some topics, shall we? We gotta talk about this one because it's one of the biggest deals in pro wrestling, and if Grapsody didn't talk about it, it would feel like I don't know. I wouldn't feel right if we didn't talk about it. Of course, Phil alluded to it in the intro. as we talk about our double R's, we have to talk about the double R. That we lost Scott Hall this week. And Scott Hall, otherwise known to many as Razor Ramon, passed away this past Monday. Believe he was 63. That is still super young. And yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to talk a little bit about, the bad guy, kind of our favorite memories of Mr. Scott Hall. I will say that, I don't know, Scott Hall was such a big part of my formative years as a pro wrestling fan.
Yep.
I probably played WrestleMania, the arcade game, like nonstop. Oh, look at him with the toothpick.
Yeah.
He was cover boy, Razor Ramon, right? But then, I was really big into WCW, and when he jumped ship, he was kind of the piece that made it is amazing. WWF at the time had Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, but it really felt like when they lost Razor Ramon, it really felt like they lost, and Diesel, it really felt like they lost their heart and soul at that point.
Seriously.
It was years before WWF felt like a force again. But at that point in 1995 or 1996, when that guy jumped, it felt like their biggest personality was on the other side now. And
part of their, like, the 90s Mount Rushmore of WWF, his head is on there. And so when he it's crazy that, like, how everything happened and how popular wrestling was at the time, because I remember when he showed up on Nitro, and then the next day at school, everyone being like, what? Because there's no dirt sheets, there's no internet, there's no Twitter. Yep. We don't know that. I have no idea that he's going to WCW, and I love pro wrestling. I'm talking about, like, now. And so, like, when you see someone that you see every week on Raw, on Nitro, and they didn't say, like, this guy is now signed to WCW, he's Scott Hall. They were making it like he was coming over from the WWF. So it's like, yo, what is going on here? And he's the catalyst for it. He started this, man. It kicked off because of him, and it had to be him.
Yeah, and honestly, like, you talk about not having the internet. Yeah, the only place I ever got my facts was calling 1-900-909-9900 and getting the...
No. One time, oh, man. I remember. It was 1994. It was right after Royal Rumble. Lex Luger and Bret Hart both went over at the same time. I called the hotline. I didn't know that it, like, charged money to your house. So I, like, called the hotline. I'm like, oh shit, what happened at the show? Like, the hotline is just like a recording of Bret Hart being like, yes, I won. No, and Lex Luger, no, I won. I'm like, it's not worth the money that they're screwing and scamming us out of. So my mom gets the bill and she's like, what the fuck's going on here? I'm like, yo, I thought this was on the house. I thought we were good here. I don't know who's being charged for this. So yeah, that was it. First and last.
Yeah. I may be called the Mean Gene hotline like one time. And
the Mean Gene hotline.
Yeah, just to get them scoops. But
scoops, baby. Before SRS, there was Mean Gene on 1-900-909-9900.
Yep. But as far as Razor was concerned, as far as Scott Hall was concerned, he was the coolest dude. Like, definitely. The fact that he came over, and I feel like I tweeted this the day before he passed, when things weren't looking very good. But I felt like around 95, 96, I was starting to turn 9, 10 years old, and I was starting to feel like, I don't know, wrestling was feeling a little corny to me. Mm-hmm. And, but
because WWF was corny as fuck.
Oh my god, that year was some of the corny shit. But
WCW too was pretty
WCW.
Corny,
honestly,
it's pretty bad.
95 had Hogan
probably
versus
the worst.
The Dungeon of Doom stuff like that.
The Yeti, all that
shit.
The
Yeti, there was some wrestling was feeling corny.
Was bad.
Wrestling was feeling corny as hell to me as a kid, and then it was really Scott Hall that made that change to me, because like when he jumped ship, but all of a sudden he's not wearing like flashy gear. He's wearing the denim, right? And nobody's calling him Razor Ramon. They're calling him Scott Hall. And those are little things to me that I never realized till hindsight. But those were little things that were making wrestling seem more real than it was previously. And Eric
some
Bischoff's,
dummy on Wednesday just did a promo that just that exact same thing that you're describing. He did it a promo where he said, "We're sports entertainers," and he went through all that. He did exactly what you said. They don't have fake names. They have real names. That's exactly what Chris Jericho did on Dynamite.
In 95 or 96.
Wrong.
In 96, that had a big effect on me as a fan, because like because Eric Bischoff has talked about in the past. He's mentioned in 2003 his number one goal with Nitro was to make even wrestling's biggest skeptics go, well, I know this stuff is fake, but what about that? Mm-hmm. And so like a big thing is taking somebody who you knew as a gimmick and all of a sudden showing us them as a real person. Right. That made wrestling fans who like knew it was fake suddenly go, but what about this? Like, that ain't Diesel out there. That's Kevin Nash. That ain't Razor Ramon. This is Scott Hall. And, Hogan is no longer wearing the red and yellow. Like, now this is a dude telling fans how he really feels. And there was a piece of me that always felt like Hogan really felt like that about people.
Yeah, no, that was real Hogan. It's funny. That's too. That brings along one of my favorite Scott Hall moments, speaking of them being real. And originally when the NWO started, they were out at the spring break spot or whatever. It's outside. And so they did the angle where they come and they invade WCW and they're beating up people backstage. Rey Mysterio jumps onto Kevin Nash. Kevin Nash sends him into a dart into the truck, and now this trailer, everything's going crazy. But people in real life thought this was real. And so they were actually calling like the fire department and the police, being like, yo, these guys they're at the show, like beating up all the guys backstage. Y'all need to pull up. So like they had actual police and fire people show up because people thought this was real. They thought that Kevin Nash and Scott Hall were real guys beating up wrestlers. So like that's how like they changed wrestling for us. We were used to like the Goon and Ultimate Warrior and like these big giant gimmicks, and like, no, these guys are real. They wear their regular clothes. They come out and they talk like they're not yelling. They're not, like wrestlers. They're like real people, and it was just so different in it. It was refreshing at the time, especially it was. Like for like you said in 95, wrestling was corny. We were ready for something different. I was so ready to have ECW. So like this was like the beginning of me finding ECW, and like that 90s, man.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I just Scott Hall to me was one of the coolest guys of that era. Mm-hmm. A lot of people have been sharing the moment where he got hit with the drink and he just slicks his hair back, like the smoothest dude.
Yeah, no, you talked about wrestling not being corny, wrestling being corny. Like even during the WWF years, Razor Ramon was always cool. There was never a moment where he was not cool.
Those vignettes are still. You could still look up those vignettes today, and they're still great. Mm-hmm. I would argue he's one of the most impactful guys from that time period. I mean, Definitely. Just everything he did. I mean, from that ladder match, you've seen how many people have posted like the holding the two belts. Sammy did it. Both Sammys did it really. And so, man, he's had an impact. I didn't truly understand it until I had people that aren't really wrestling fans texting me the day he passed away. Like, whoa, Scott Hall passed, and I'm like, you watch wrestling? Like, and it's like they don't really watch wrestling now, but they know who he is.
They know that.
Yeah,
my timeline was lit with a bunch of people that aren't current wrestling fans being like, oh damn, Scott Hall, oh damn, Razor Ramon, oh damn, my childhood. Just like, it's crazy. Yeah, he had a super huge impact. 90s, man, like Will was saying, all the video games, all the like if you came up in 91, 92, 90, like during those formative new generation attitude, any of those years, this guy was like, when you played wrestler with all your cousins and your friends, someone was going to be Razor Ramon. That was one of the first picks. He's a top pick. Like he's a top guy. Like he was the guy. He was never world champion. They talk about that a lot this week. And like there was moments where you could have, made it happen, but like, he played his position. All he cared about was money. He didn't really care about them championships. Like if I'm getting paid, I'm showing up. That's what's up. Like I'm talking about the top dollar. And that's another thing that he not innovated, but like kind of like helped along, because I think before they were into that is like, no, this is a business, man. I want money. I'm here to do my job. It's a popular Brock Lesnar thing now. He's like, no, I'm not like a mark for the business. I'm like pay me to show up, and I'm going to show up, do my thing, and I'm out of there. Like that's the life I'm trying to live. I don't care about championships. I don't care about accomplishments. I don't care about anything. I care about getting paid and going back home to my family. And that's, one thing that he did.
A lot of people talk about him. He for years, even before his passing, when people ask who's greatest wrestler to never become world champion, usually the names mentioned in there are Scott Hall, Ted DiBiase, and
Roddy Piper.
Yeah, Roddy Piper. But like Scott Hall never seemed like the type to care, and that's also what made him also come off come off so cool. Is like Scott Hall was perfectly content with that idea that I need world titles for him, Scott Hall. And
I'm paid. That's all that matters. I'm paid.
Yeah, man. What is the quote from the Matt Hardy podcast this week? So Matt said that the best thing that he felt like Scott taught them was, this is the entertainment business, not entertainment friends. Like, it's cool to have friends, but make your money, make sure you're taken care of.
Right. Yeah, it's wild, man. He had such a huge impact on so many wrestlers. Like I see a lot of wrestlers saying, like a lot of current independent wrestlers saying, oh, I talked to Scott Hall this one time and he gave me this amazing advice that I'll never forget, or I saw him at a seminar and he did this, or people talk about him going to the Performance Center and helping a bunch of wrestlers. Like beyond being an incredible pro wrestler, like I think his mind for the business, people talk about him and Jake the Snake Roberts being like some of the greatest minds of pro wrestling ever that we thought we were going to have for longer than this. So it's like a big hit to the pro wrestling community losing out on Scott Hall, man.
Yeah. It was good to see him get at least, come back, because he was struggling for a while. So to see him have like the last 10 years or so where he got his flowers and got his Hall of Fame induction and everything.
Yep. I think he's really two-time Hall of Fame.
Yep.
Yeah, shout out to him, man.
As Razor and technically as Scott Hall.
Man.
Because, he's officially in with the NWO.
And the Click.
Yep, and the Click.
So, shout out to Scott Hall, man. He did so many amazing things, so many amazing moments. Ladder match. There's a crazy Action Zone match that everyone's been talking about this week with Razor and Diesel and HBK and 1-2-3 Kid. That's insane. One of the best one of the best tag matches you'll ever see in your whole life. The other ladder match it's been talked about a lot, but that's rarely talked about, SummerSlam 1995. Again, the rematch with Shawn Michaels. Also an incredible contest. A piece of Black history. One time he was down with Walter Payton, was there and messing around. Chuck Norris was there. There was all kind of crazy shit going on, but Scott Hall was there. He was lit, popular in WWF at the time, man. Like,
greatest running back of all time. Just gonna throw that in there for sweetness.
Yeah. I mean, come on, you know what time it is. Chi-Town. I knew Phil was here.
Survey says one more for the good guys. And
rest in peace.
I used to love that, by the way. It got me every time. But anyway, we are also going to be talking about
what else is out there.
So saw it on our topics list. So it sounds like we're talking about it.
Yeah.
But one Joseph Janela did.
Oh, yes.
The bad guy to the bad boy.
Yes, from the bad guy to the bad boy.
Yes, so Joey Janela did an interview with our homie
Denise Salcedo.
Yeah. And what he said is that I'm not resigning with AEW May 1st. My contract is over. He also said some other things that got people talking. Like people thought that there was some heat on him for busting Hangman open one match and being stiff with some other wrestlers. So he talked about all of that. And so it's kind of been likened to the Swole thing. I've seen a lot of people being like, well, why isn't Tony Khan tweeting about Joey Janela's blah 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 like this? And I'm like, I don't know how you
do
guys
this every time somebody
I'm like,
criticizes AEW.
why are you why are we trying to relate all? It's just, yo, no, all these things are different. Everything is different. Stop it. So yeah,
and more than that, we don't want to repeat.
No, we don't.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, I thought that the biggest takeaway that I had from it, he was very complimentary of his time there. He said that he enjoyed his time there. He learned a lot. But he did. The only thing I've seen a recurring theme through people that have criticized AEW, whether that be Sheeta or Big Swole or now Janela, is that he was saying how unorganized it was and how they could use talent relations and how they kind of left him hanging and they left Marco hanging, which I know people don't like Marco Stunt, but I like Marco Stunt. Sorry. But I think there's something to that. I do think that there is something to, them, having a laxed environment, and that's cool for their first few years, but maybe needing to tighten up the ship a little bit.
I think that's kind of what happened, and I think what a lot of people don't factor in is this company is still very new. So when it started, they needed a bunch of players to help them get this thing off the ground. And I'm thinking that a lot of those players thought that they were going to continue to be the players. But what happens is contracts end, things happen. Fucking Bryan Danielson is available. CM Punk is available. Like, there's a lot of these things you can't pass up when they happen. So like, there's going to be a lot more of this exact thing happening with people that were here originally for Cody Rhodes. I mean, like a lot of people that helped build this company are going to be out, and I could see how it looks. It might look crazy because there's a bunch of like new shiny toys that the company's like, oh, well, damn, like, sorry, Joey Janela, fucking Swerve is here. See you later, bro. Like, it's hard to like, you know what I mean? Like, it's hard to like, if it's a shiny new toy, like, I'm about to play with that shiny new toy.
It didn't seem like he was bothered by it, though. I think his thing was just like, call me and tell me what the deal is.
Yeah.
And I feel like, he talked about how, what he would like to see is more of a talent relations department, because that's one thing that that I think AEW doesn't necessarily want to have, but you kind of have to. What I specifically mean is like, WWE has kind of the good cop, bad cop thing going on, right? Where like they recognize anybody who leaves WWE, anybody's ever been released, anybody's ever quit, they all say the same thing, right? They always come about and they're like, I enjoyed my time with Vince McMahon. My problem was with John Laurinaitis. My problem was with John Laurinaitis. My problem was with Canyon Ceman. My problem was with whoever, right?
Mark, what's his name or whatever his name?
Yeah, Mark Carrano.
Mark Carrano. Yeah,
Mark Carrano. Usually, what the issues were, but like, from an outside perspective, it's easy to see that, there's very clearly a good,
it is.
Yeah, it's very clearly a good cop, bad cop thing going on. Like, none of that happened without going through Vince. But Vince at least has somebody willing to be the bad guy, like a John Laurinaitis, who you can send to say, hey, listen, you got to fire this guy. And
see, my question is like, what about guys like Christopher Daniels, Jerry Lynn? They have a bunch of guys back there that are doing this, I thought.
So this is where I'm going with this. So again, because it's basically a game of what we like to call kill the messenger, where you send somebody out who doesn't care about being loved or liked or anything like that, who doesn't care about being respected, who can willingly go be the bad guy, be the person who has to deliver the bad news. Hey, we're going to cut you. And so WWE has that, and they've had that in many forms for years. Like Mark Carrano was that guy. Everybody will talk shit about Mark Carrano. Everybody talks shit about Johnny Ace. People don't necessarily want to have to say the bad things about Vince, because Vince was smart enough to not deal with any of that directly. Christopher Daniels is a guy that you notice everybody loves and respects. And I think he is a great face to have on the signing side of things, right? Because he's the guy that people were like, yeah, I want to get in the room with Christopher Daniels because I want to get signed by Christopher Daniels. Head of talent relations. He's that guy. You also have to have somebody willing to be the other side of that, though. The side that you don't want to be in the room with. Who can deliver that bad news. Because, again, Christopher Daniels is a guy who's so respected in the business that I think there's a piece of I can't speak for him, but I can maybe speak to the idea that nobody wants to see him that way. Nobody wants to see him as the guy that is going to deliver you bad news, is going to tell you, okay, we're going to not pursue a new deal with you. We're going to let your contract expire. And I feel like there has to be somebody on that side, though. You can't just go radio silent. That's what Joey Janela's talking about happened with him. That he says that now he kind of implied, he was like, I'm sure Christopher Daniels would love nothing more than to tell me. But he kind of implied
that
that maybe he don't see much in him anyway. But this
is one of those it's good for the wrestlers thing. It's good for the wrestler thing because he's doing way, way, way more in the place that he should have originally stayed. And no, he said that being in AEW has gotten him more bookings and more money and more things. But this guy's home is GCW, Game Changer Wrestling, man. Like he's making his mark. He's about to have this match with X-Pac. He's about to have a giant WrestleMania weekend. He belongs in GCW. Make this guy the GCW World Champ after AJ Gray becomes World Champion. Make Joey Janela the GCW World Champ because he represents this brand more than fucking anybody. So like he's going to do what he's always been destined to do. He said that AEW was a stepping stone. AEW helped him get to a higher position. It's going to help his career. So all is well here. I'm sure he, the things ended kind of sour, but not super that sour. Like it's not that bad.
And
like,
he didn't even imply that it ended sour. He talked about how
I feel you.
Yeah, he talked about, I watched the whole thing. And shout out Denise, I think. And I don't just say that as your friend. I actually genuinely think it was a good interview. And I told her that. But I did feel like like I say, he didn't really down on his experience much. He talked about real things. He mentioned the Sonny Kiss feud, that the thing he wanted more than anything was for Sonny Kiss to get over. And he said, had he known that last match was going to be it, he would have pushed for a different result because he was like, I essentially booked that whole feud with Sonny Kiss. And he
really
said
good feud,
that,
by the way, if people weren't watching Dark.
Yeah.
Really good feud.
And he said that had he known that was kind of going to be it for him, he would have put Sonny Kiss over rather than the other way around. And because he's like, Sonny Kiss is the one staying, I'm not. So like,
right.
And Sonny should be on TV more. Let's just say.
Right. Is he? I don't know. Like, what's going on with Sonny Kiss? Like, he's not.
Yeah, I don't know what they're
out there.
I don't know what's going on with that, but I thought that feud was good. I even thought their tag team was good for a while, but for whatever reason, they weren't putting that stuff on TV.
Yeah. And he talked about how he was told he was coming back to TV before the Eddie Kingston injury. And he believes that had something to do with him not being brought back to TV and essentially communication being cut off. That, of course, Eddie Kingston they had started the feud with Chris Jericho back at after Full Gear, and things kind of seemed like in full swing. And then Eddie Kingston had the orbital bone injury and disappeared. I didn't know that came via a match with Joey Janela. Maybe I did know that, but I guess it was one of those things that I just
not know that.
forgot.
I didn't know that either.
But like, and Joey was, and a lot of people have been trying to put the heat on Janela for certain things, and then like the Hangman Hardway blood on that Go Home show to Double or Nothing last year, and then he was like, nope, freak accident. Literally, it was and Hangman tweeted that he didn't blame him at all, and also it was Joey that got concussed in that match, and he apologized for that. Like, either way, I think Joey Janela is a guy that is doing so much. We talk about control your narrative, but like, he is a guy who is genuinely controlling his narrative, and he is a guy who, as he outright said in the interview, he learned what's for him and what isn't, and he learned that working for somebody else at a major company,
not for him,
and not for him. That he wants to be the guy you pay to see on the independent scene, and he's gonna go back to being that and continuing to be that. And that's it.
Should have always been that from the jump, honestly.
So,
I mean, I do think that sometimes I understand needing to scratch the itch of like, what is it going to be like? If he went his whole career basically going, man, it's a shame I never signed anywhere. Like you don't want to have that feeling in the back of your head. At least now he can say, I
Now
did
he
sign
knows.
some.
Right.
Yeah, I did sign somewhere. What for me? Now I know exactly who I am and what I'm going to do. And this is what I'm going to be doing. So that's how I feel about Joey Janela. Good for Joey Janela.
Yeah, good for Joey. He's gonna do a lot this year. His name is gonna be huge at the end of 2022.
He's going to be just fine. I think in terms of him signing when he did, people have to remember where he was in his career at that time. He was one of the hottest indie wrestlers at that time. So it made sense to sign him.
It did.
I just don't think that, I don't think they utilized him as well as they could have in terms of, what he's great at. And, that's booking and other things. And that's just, to his point, he's a better use at GCW doing what he's doing with Spring Break.
He is. Yeah.
And when he talked about, he was like
Breaking a whole bunch of young wrestlers. Like, that's the thing.
Man, bringing in old guys, bringing in Maven for Spring Break, which, I mean, that card for Spring Break for WrestleMania weekend.
We got to get our schedule right, gentlemen.
I know.
There's things over. I'm like, yo.
Look, okay, because all of a sudden I'm still like, man, I want to go see Ring of Honor. I want to see what this new Ring of
I want
Honor.
to see that Ring of Honor show, man. It's hot.
Yeah.
It's a hot show.
What the Curtis Colwell Center is going to be, because, like, first off, we finally got the FTR versus Briscoes match happening, and it's like, you know what? I know everybody wanted to see that match in AEW, and we've now heard. I've been hearing that for weeks, by the way, the Warner Media stuff. But I'm glad that's finally out there.
It's yeah.
I don't like being the guy to break news at all. Like, I hated, by the way, the Mickey James bit I dropped a month and a half ago, where I just kind of said it. Forgetting that hadn't been reported anywhere, and so all of a sudden,
Reddit was like, "Ooh, did you guys hear?"
And so my name's attached.
He said,
"I know," and so my name's attached to that, and I'm like,
"Scoopster, Will Washington."
Come on, man, you better. We got these scoops, Will.
I know.
Ain't no stopping me. Nah, we going to the top.
I know.
Baby. Drop one right now. You got one. I know. You got one.
It's funny. Our group chat has stuff a lot of times that there's a lot of stuff in our group chat that's
for us
like,
to know.
I know. There's a lot of stuff that we. But, like, I don't like being that guy, because then I feel responsible for it. And I will leave that to Sean.
And wrestlers will come for you. Wrestlers don't fuck around. They will be like, yo, what the fuck?
I know, right? So, like, Sean's cool being that guy. And
we see how Sean is treated online. We don't want none of that smoke.
No way. I do not want that smoke.
I'm
not
like,
at all.
I'm like, look, if I have something that's, like, really good, I'll usually just pass it to Sean. I'm like, here, you have this one, you take it. But I've been sitting on the Briscoes thing for a while.
At the West Coast Pro Show, there was some news, and I was like, "Hey, Sean Rosa, did you hear about this?" We can't be those people. Look, I'm trying to get in the game too. I'm sorry. I want to be like that guy. Holler at your boy, man. I'll break this news. Will Washington don't want it, but your boy want the smoke. I'll break your news right now today. Can't believe that Cody Rhodes signed with WWE. I'm the first one to break the news. Holler at your boy.
I don't know.
I do want the smoke, motherfucker.
And there's still things that I'm kind of holding on to that I'm like, nah, don't break that.
Yeah, I'll be having news but I'm like, those are my friends. I'm not gonna put that news.
That's the other thing too, is I'm like, yeah, I don't want to put friends in jeopardy. There's little things like that. So it's, but I will say that the Briscoes thing, I was kind of waiting for that one to break, as far as them not being able to be on television. But I thought about it, and I was like, you know what though. Thinking about the angle at Final Battle and what went down with FTR showing up there. To me, I felt like there's not a better place for this to happen than
especially for the
ROH
first
comeback
one,
show.
Because
the first one back.
They're going to have more matches, but it's important that you could say that AEW is the Revival's home, but it's not really FTR's home. They work there, but it's not their promotion. They're a part of it. The ROH Ring of Honor is the Briscoes promotion. They've lived there for 20 years. This is their home. They're
going into the Hall of Fame this year.
They're going into the Hall of Fame. Having this first match in Ring of Honor is actually way more important and way better
is.
than anything they could have ever stumbled upon. Like, this actually works out great because it's like, boom, you're gonna get heat if FTR goes over because it's in their home. But if Briscoes go over, they're at their home. So it's like they're going to be able to continue this out the gate. They're going to be able to eventually have matches elsewhere if that's possible. I don't know what's going on. Jay Briscoe's on his apology tour. He's trying to get all everything's figured out.
It's crazy. It's crazy because I saw somebody try to compare. Like, the biggest shout out I will give to somebody who remembered shit from their bad online days and got ahead of it, Scorpio Sky. Because I've always given him props for getting ahead of it, because people were like, how come y'all want to get Jay Briscoe out of here, but like you were cool with Scorpio Sky? And it's like, Scorpio Sky got ahead of it. Scorpio Sky knew the summer before AEW launched. He's like, okay, I said some shit online that I completely regret and was hella homophobic. You know what I'm gonna do? I want to do an interview with Out Magazine, one of the biggest LGBTQ publications on the planet, and I want to atone for this there. And he did, and he right in the summer of 2019, or I think it ended up coming out, I think September or October of 2019. It was before he won the tag team titles, but it was essentially, look, I know this is out there, and I don't want to seem like I am doing this in response. Like, I want to address it now and get ahead of it. And he did. And that's the difference, right? Is that, like, it's not so much backpedaling the way that a lot of other guys have had to. I do think that there is value in getting ahead of it. If you remember shit you said and are like, okay, I was an idiot and I need to own that now. I think there is value in that. And I think that a lot of people probably should, if they know that kind of stuff is out there. Now, sometimes you say shit and forget. So I also get that. But
it's a lot of years worth of tweets, man.
Listen,
yeah,
burn them hard drives, bro.
Yes,
your timeline
straight
when you get on, because there are a lot of you guys that are keeping your account from years ago, and you got stuff that you said like 10 years ago. That
Get you a contract, delete all that shit. You don't need none of it. Delete it all, bro. Everything.
But again, like I said, also get ahead of it. Like, if you know what's out there and you know, because look, I fully recognize that there are times. I've been podcasting 17 years. I recently listened to a podcast from 2006 and where I was like, what the fuck was I talking about? Who the fuck is this guy? Like, this guy has no idea what
wild motherfuckers were in 2006, man.
I'm like,
different. This guy
has no idea what he's talking about. And I'm talking about me.
I'm happy there's no 2006 Reggie fucking podcast. No way.
Like, I'm listening to that shit and I'm like, don't listen to this guy. Why did you guys listen to this guy? I wouldn't have listened to this guy, but I recognize that, like, back then, this is a different time, and like, I've learned and grown since then. So I do recognize that.
You gotta grow up, man.
Yeah, I grew up.
30.
Yeah,
I
was 19.
Yeah, and I don't particularly like that tactic either. Not saying that the Briscoes don't owe people an apology, because they do. But I don't like the tactic of people trying to go back, 10 years ago or 20 years ago and picking out something someone said to try and get them out of here. It's like, if it's something somebody reasonably said recently and it's offensive, cool. But to just try and search up people's history online just to try and cancel them, I don't agree with that. I've never agreed with that.
I'm a big believer in making people answer for stuff. In that, like, in the same way that if you dug up something that somebody said 15 years ago, I think it's reasonable to ask them about it and say, like, do you still feel this way? And if the answer is no, okay, cool. Because I very much have feelings I didn't have 15 years ago. Or find out if it's still like I still feel that way. Fuck them guys. Like, then okay, now you're on the record now saying it. But like,
fuck them guys.
If that's the way they are, if that's who they are today, like, make sure that's who they are today. But like, I agree with you on that.
Yeah.
let's see. So let's read some super chats out. And you know what? Ace pointed out, he said that is false. Stone Cold to lose to Coachman is a false story. I never said he was going to lose to him. He just didn't want to have a match with Coach.
Yeah. It wasn't about
squat.
losing. Yeah, he was just he didn't want to be in it at all.
He didn't want
at all. He didn't want the match to take place. He didn't want a bell to ring and a bell to ring with a match with Jonathan Coachman. As far as he was concerned, his final match was against The Rock.
And I would want that to be on my legacy too. I don't want and after that, no, I wrestled The Rock and that was it, bro. The Rock, that was my last match, not fucking Jonathan Coachman. What do you think? Trying to fuck up my cage match results over here. Last one is Jonathan Coachman. No, man, I don't want that. Erase that shit.
Yeah, that story. Not only is that story true, they had announced the match already. Like they had a graphic and everything. They were promoting the match. So I remember thinking at the time, that's weird that we're just having a Stone Cold Steve Austin match. Stone Cold versus Jonathan Coachman.
Niggas wanted Stone Cold back, and we didn't want to see him against Jonathan Coachman.
We didn't want that. We didn't want that awful Coachman theme song coming on.
Oh, God. With the backwards tango on, like fucking Sam Jackson.
And he was and the match ended up turning into on the Go Home show. It ended up becoming Batista versus Jonathan Coachman. And
we just need somebody to beat Coach's ass. Who wants to beat Coach's ass?
And the weird thing was, the funny thing about that at the time, because if you go look up the match now, it's Taboo Tuesday 2005, Jonathan Coachman versus Batista.
Why haven't they did Taboo Tuesday also again?
Yeah, they
it seems like more now. The internet, dude. What are y'all doing? Weird.
I know. Well, and the odd thing was the whole reason Taboo Tuesday came about was because it was an election year in 2004, and so it was Tuesday's election night. Let's do the week before a pay-per-view on a Tuesday where fans vote, and it was supposed. And now politics have become so WWE used to be so hands-on in politics. Like they literally did a go-home show on a Monday night.
Apolitical, bro. That's what
I know.
Now they're like, oh, we don't know anything about politics. I've never even seen the news.
Yeah, because I remember in 2000, November 6, 2000, it was a Raw. The night before the 2000 election, they basically had the company go out there and endorse George W. Bush. They had, because they were in Houston, Texas. I remember that. It's my favorite Raw ever. But you had Kurt Angle come out, get on the microphone as a heel, and talk about George Bush is an alcoholic, and you people are insane for voting for the whole reverse psychology thing. Make sure all these fans know George Bush is the guy. That was what they did back then.
Propaganda, bro.
You had Jerry Lawler. Jerry Lawler used to just say shit on commentary about politics, where I remember in a Raw, it was a random pay-per-view in '98. Jerry Lawler just goes, we got a lousy president, and now we got a lousy champion. And it was just shit they would just say back then. They did not give a fuck. And as recently as '08, remember they did the fucking Hillary Clinton versus Barack Obama match on Raw.
Yes.
It really wasn't until it really wasn't until the modern climate of politics that they finally were okay, complete hands off. But that was the whole reason for Taboo Tuesday, was to play up on election stuff. Right. And I honestly thought, I had this idea back in '08, I think, where I thought, wouldn't it be weird because Raw and SmackDown are red and blue that you could play those up as if they did a number one contenders kind of situation, but instead of voting specifically for a wrestler, Raw and SmackDown put up their nominee, and one's representing blue, one's representing red. And the fans have to vote for either the Raw or SmackDown person.
That's a little too close to home for me. Anytime they talking about blues and reds, I'm like, yeah, I'm out. Nope, not about to have me out here fake crippling blood.
But no, Taboo Tuesday ended up.
But yeah, why haven't they done it? We all have phones and shit. I want to vote.
It's an easy vote.
I know you guys are gonna rig it because you can't have anything real, but try it again. It'll be
man. That gave Shelton his moment, man. So bring Taboo Tuesday back, man.
Right.
Yeah. But like I was saying, as far as what Taboo Tuesday ended up actually being, it's funny to think about in hindsight because Stone Cold really completely derailed that whole thing because not only did Batista at the time was on SmackDown, and Taboo Tuesday was a Raw pay-per-view, and Batista was also the world champion on SmackDown, and so it was like, for this Taboo Tuesday pay-per-view, this Raw pay-per-view that Stone Cold is supposed to wrestle at, on the Go Home show, they were suddenly like, actually, here's SmackDown's world champion, Batista, and he's instead just going to come in and squash Jonathan Coachman on a brand he's not on for no reason at all. And now the card historically will always show World Heavyweight Champion Batista faced Jonathan Coachman.
Taboo Tuesday.
That's the story. But yeah, there was never a story that Coach was going to beat Stone Cold. He was just going to get slapped around a little bit, stunned, 1, 2, 3. Anyway, Naked Mikey Walton says, chances we have 2 surprises in the Seth match. Cody coming in and Triple H coming in to cost Cody.
I think we're going to see Triple H.
Triple H, nope. Big hard no on Triple H.
Yeah. Let's see. We got more. Lux Pro Music says, hey, fellas, just wanted to say y'all have been killing it every single week. Appreciate the super dope content. Also, I just picked up Regular off Bandcamp.
Yes.
Brick Phone is fire.
Everybody go to righteousreg.bandcamp right fucking now and get Regular. Shout out to Lux Pro. I just saw your notification. I appreciate you. It's fucking lit out here. I love it.
Mac says, I enjoyed seeing the video, seeing Razor give the 1, 2, 3 kid push to a young Hiroshi Tanahashi.
Yeah,
that was pretty cool.
Oh man,
shout out to Tanahashi, by the way, for doing the Razor entrance at a recent New Japan show.
Tanahashi's fucking cool, man.
We've got Wrestling While Black says, sending support. Appreciate support. We also have Dante says, people keep saying no one will miss him, but people aren't acknowledging how good he is. We're talking about Joey Janela. Tag team with Sonny, match with Kenny, Cracker Barrel triple threat with Havoc and Darby, revisionist history, IMO.
Yeah, no, he did some fun things.
I see it 2 ways. I think Joey is I think Joey is a very valuable talent, and I love Joey Janela. I think he's a very cool dude and all of that. The guy isn't exactly TV friendly, and I get that too. That I do recognize that there's a lot of like people who just don't vibe with Joey Janela, and sometimes you do need to be in an environment that is more suited toward who you are.
His shtick isn't for fucking TNT. That's what it is.
And
his
that's
shtick
really
is for GCW. That's why he's going to do it in GCW.
Now, he said one of his goals and dreams was to main event a pay-per-view. He actually got to do it. He faced it. A lot of people forget Fyter Fest, the first Fyter Fest, was not an episode of Dynamite. The first Fyter Fest was a pay-per-view. We got it free here in the States, but it was not free outside of the United States. It did have to be paid for. Joey Janela versus Jon Moxley was the main event of that show. So he got to main event a pay-per-view. Speaking of which,
Jon Moxley, yeah.
AEW, now I think about it, has been to a bunch of places in Florida. They have not returned to Daytona Beach at all, which is where the first Fyter Fest was. So that's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. But I get people that are like, they didn't understand the appeal of him. I think that he did have some bangers with AEW, whether that be the Kenny match. I completely forgot about that 3-way with Darby and that other guy that we won't speak of. But he's had great matches. I do think he's going to go on to do bigger and better things.
Yeah, I agree.
As an indie wrestler, though.
Shauna says, if we are all criticized or canceled today for some stupid stuff we said 10 years ago, then how can we show we've grown? It's how you act today.
Yeah, you gotta.
And you also change. Yeah. And Danny H says, as someone who listened to 2006 William Washington, I agree. Different time. Thank you.
Come on, man. Honestly, kick my man back straight in.
Yes.
Hey, honestly, and like I said, 2006, I was 19 years old. And I And when I say like it wasn't anything like terrible, I just like I had some bad takes on like Undertaker, and that's what I mean. I'm like I don't feel this way.
Guys that thinks he's one of the greatest of all time. Is that one of your bad
Is
takes?
he in your top 10?
In 2006, I actually wasn't a fan at all of the Undertaker, and like hindsight is like, what are you thinking here? But I don't know.
What was Undertaker doing in 2006 that had you doing that? Was that
he was feuding with Mark Henry?
Yeah, he had like the World Heavyweight Championship and all that.
He hadn't won that yet. That was 07. Like 06 was like that weird limbo year where he was like in 04 he feuded with Heidenreich, and in 05 like his real only winner was like the feud with Orton. But then in 06 he had the stuff with Mark Henry, and that was like hit or miss. And he was feuding Mr. Kennedy and stuff like that. And I was
Kennedy.
Like, yeah, I was like, I don't know, that guy was not for me in 06. And
I mean, that wasn't his best run.
Yeah, it wasn't really hot for him in 2006.
Tremaine says, I read that the Briscoes immediately apologized, and if we were talking about problematic people, DW already got that shit wrapped up.
Yeah, I don't know if they immediately apologized. I don't know enough to, comment, but it just looks away, man. It looks away that now that, they're getting denied opportunities, that he's coming and apologizing. And so I understand people that are skeptical.
I think, but honestly, I don't even know if it's just that. I think that because what I had heard was that it had also just had a lot to do with them just kind of along the Joy Janela lines of TBS just not feeling like they're TV friendly guys. That
they're not. That's what's cool about them. That's what we like about them. That's why I want them to be on your TV, because they don't look like they should be on your fucking TV. That's what's cool about pro wrestling. I don't want them all to look like fucking baby Randy Ortons. I don't want everybody to be buff. I don't want everybody to have six packs. I want there to be some fucking giant. I want to see Keith Lee's and JD Drake's and fucking some tall guys and some short women and some, so a BBW on wrestling. Why aren't there? There's not enough BBW wrestlers. I just want to say that because that'd be cool. There's not any BBW wrestlers. What the fuck, man? You guys are being discriminatory towards the greatest genre of women there are. Y'all need to stop being discriminatory pro wrestling. Y'all better stop it. Y'all better stop it. Let them BBW shine. There's some out there and they are fine. And they can wrestle, most importantly. Let's go.
If nothing else.
You guys are like, I'm not going to say anything.
No. Actually, what I was about to say is, look, man, if Grapsody is not in the end known for anything else, I want it to be known for having given Righteous Reg a platform.
Your boy, I am so in the fucking building. I appreciate Grapsody so much. It's been since October fucking 2nd when we started the shit. It's been the wildest ride, man. Every week it's some wild shit. We about to fucking go crazy
in Dallas in 2 weeks.
Dallas, fucking Texas. It's gonna be some shit.
Hey, we might get our ass whooped though. Who knows? But we got.
I've heard. Hey, man. Someone's gonna punch me in the back of the head. They said.
I seen those.
Pull up, pussy boy. I want to fucking know. Show your fucking face online. See, this is what I don't fucking like. There's these motherfuckers that come online. They talk all this shit. Hey, I'm gonna do this to you, but you're fucking hiding behind a picture, bitch. You know what I look like? I have fucking videos. I got my internet. You can go see my IG. You can see whatever the fuck you want. I live in Oakland, California. Don't try to say you're gonna fucking pull up on me in fucking Dallas, Texas, and beat my ass. You're fucking hiding, pussy boy. It's probably fucking Alfred, that pussy motherfucker. I will slap the dog fucking shit out of you, motherfucker. Don't threaten me online. What the fuck do you think this is? I'm not fucking playing no fucking games. I'm tired of this shit. Fuck off. You want to fucking troll? Pull the fuck up. I'm not one of these motherfuckers that's going to talk shit and then when we're in person, it's fucking, no, motherfucker, I'm going to slap the shit out of you fucking motherfuckers. Fuck off. I hate that shit, man. This is fucking real life. You can't be threatening me on the fucking internet. Dude, what the fuck do you think this is?
Man.
I'm telling you, Righteous Reg, man.
So, context for this, guys. I don't know if our listeners understand that every now and then we'll get like a mysterious anonymous account, and they'll tweet weird stuff at us, and they'll be either threats or like other nasty stuff. And a lot of times I just block them like right away. But this has been happening for since
like a month into the show.
Yes.
Yeah, since like November. And so I am of the opinion of like, who cares, block. But it is to a point like,
now they're making physical
You're
threats.
threatening.
What are you
you're
looking for? It's
me.
like
you're not just
that's,
talking shit, saying blah blah blah. These guys are corny.
Listen,
you're fucking saying you're gonna fight me, and you're doing like gun things at me. No, motherfucker, this ain't no fucking game. If that's how it is, like, whack. All right, shit's gonna be fucking different out here. What the fuck is this, man? I'm not playing these fucking hiding behind a fucking name games.
No, and
fuck up, pussy boy.
And you will never ever see me online playing like that, because
this ain't shit to play with, man. He's from Chicago. I live in fucking Oakland, California. You don't play with words, man. You say some shit and some shit's gonna fucking happen to you. I'm not online being like, hey, if I see motherfucker, you don't play games like that, because people really do shit on fucking site out here. It's not a fucking game, man. It's not the internet where nothing matters. Shit fucking matters if you say that shit.
Yeah, I don't play with that. You never see me say stuff like pull up or on site or none of that stuff, because if you say that, you have to do that. Then don't.
It's
don't
on
say
site
that
if you fucking say
that's
it.
not what it is, bro. Like I don't play with that.
Got me off my goddamn shit, man. Come on, man.
But yeah, leave people alone online. If that's the end.
I'm not like that. Now I'm not trying to fight people. I don't talk like that. I'm trying to see the BBW. You guys hear what the fuck's going on here? I'm not trying to be fighting with niggas. I'm trying to rub on a butt.
Yeah, come on, man. Y'all, come on. Especially over wrestling. Like, it's just
it's
like...
wrestling,
I know, and then we're talking about pro wrestling, man.
You're talking about, you want to fight over wrestling, dude? It's fake fighting. You want a real fight over fake fighting? That's not how this works.
It's the stupidest
not how
thing
any
ever,
of this works.
It's stupid. Like, get a life, guys. I don't know who's making fake accounts to do this. If you're making burners, like, dude... Find something else to do with your time, bro. Like,
or put your real face on there so we can see you fucking do it. Stand behind your shit if you're gonna do it.
Hey, man, don't let me find out who you are. That's all I'm saying. That's not a threat to you personally, but don't let me find out who you are.
Pussy boy. All right, let's move on.
Numblocks says, does anyone else think it's crazy that Ridge Holland accidentally breaks Big E's neck and then the next week he gets to pin Kofi?
Yeah, I don't really understand you got to take a week off after you break somebody's neck, bro. You can't get back out there.
I didn't watch much of SmackDown this week.
I watched all of SmackDown. It's all your fault, Philip Lindsey.
I told you after.
People was trying to tell you not to.
Legit, my whole timeline was like, don't, stop it, don't, please, no.
I told you not to watch it, man.
Damn.
Yeah. Just like
I've been wanting to say...
It's not bad. It's not a bad show, dude. It's just fucking boring. Worse than bad is boring. I would rather it be like, that show sucks. There's all kind of dumb shit going on, but it's not. It's just like regular, like it's nothing. It's just like, here's a show that no one really cares. There's no heart and soul. Classic fucking WWE, man.
Hey, that's what CM Punk fucked around and found out, because like CM Punk, when he signed up for WWE backstage, I think he thought that he was going to be like, all right, I get to come bury some awful shit. And then he found out it's not even awful. It's just boring. Yeah. And he was like, man, like he got to review the shows and just found out I'm not like actively offended by anything. I'm just not like engaged by any of it.
No, it's nothing. Like it's fine. Like I understand why people are like, oh, it's not so bad, because it's not so bad. But it shouldn't. This is the number one. This is big fucking Vince McMahon, man. They are the ones. They are they are pro wrestling, regardless of how we want to say. When people think of pro wrestling, they think of this company. We should be watching this show. We should be every week fiending to see this show because of the talented wrestlers that they have. We should want to watch every WrestleMania. I should be like, damn, WrestleMania is in 2 weeks. I cannot fucking wait to see this show. But instead, I'm like, oh God, WrestleMania is in 2 weeks. I do not want to see this show. They don't care. It's soulless. It's slow. It's boring as fuck, man. It's just there. And it shouldn't be just there for this giant corporation of tremendously talented people. Just there? That's crazy.
I'll say this, because I did watch SmackDown last night. I've been wanting to say this for weeks. I've said it to you guys. look. These corny white men have ruined Shinsuke Nakamura's entrance. Like, Shinsuke Nakamura used to have the coolest entrance of all time. Like, when you think about when that entrance hit, I remember when he got called up in 2017, and he came out when Miz and Maurice were in the ring, and then all of a sudden, lights went out, and then all of a sudden, the red graphics come across the Tron. We get down. It was cool as shit in NXT. I remember I had a friend who had never watched pro wrestling before who thought Shinsuke Nakamura was the coolest thing ever, and that's what got him into pro wrestling. That was how effective the song was, all of that. I don't know, but when I watch it today, it's not cool. Rick Boogs is not cool. He's fucking corny. And like
super corny, man. I thought I was crazy on this one. And
then like people are like, "Oh, isn't it so funny how
no, it's
not. What's his fucking name? Pat McAfee gets up on the announce table and does the dance and all that. That's so funny." And it's like, "No, this entrance used to be cool. It's not cool anymore. It's fucking corny as hell. You guys have like actively made this uncool." And I think and the worst part to me is it's hard to notice until you go back and watch any old Shinsuke. I just recently, because Dallas just had me thinking about Shinsuke versus Sami Zayn.
One of my favorite live matches ever. Like, legit top 5. And I've seen a lot of live matches.
Go back and watch that. But even still, go back and watch some of that early Shinsuke stuff on the main roster. And it's just like how into the entrance people were. But let it be natural. Let the people be into it. Let the people feel it's cool. But when you then add elements on screen where you're like, no, actually, our announcer's going to get up on the table and he's going to be the highlight of this. Or we now have Rick Boogs get up there and do the introduction for it. And it's like, none of this is cool anymore. None of this is cool. I hate it. I fucking hate it.
Look, to your point, when he debuted, had super cool Lee England next to him playing violin from Waukegan, Illinois. That was cool. You've got this Boog stuff. No, remember when they first brought his original theme back and people were singing the theme? Even when at Royal Rumble, remember how cool it was when he came out and you could hear the crowd singing it? Just let the crowd sing with him. We don't need Boogs. We don't need McAfee. We don't need any of it. Stop it. Corny white people need to be stopped. Stop it.
I'm sorry. I felt this way for a number of weeks, and I realized I hadn't gotten to say it on Grapsody because I feel like Shinsuke Nakamura has one of the coolest entrances all time.
He does.
Let that thing cook, man. Let that thing cook, bro.
Let it cook. Let it be Shinsuke's.
And don't tweet me. He's having fun. I know there's somebody waiting to be like, Grapsody, Shinsuke's having fun. He's surfing. He may be having the time of his life. I don't enjoy watching his entrance with Boogs and Pat McAfee every week. I'm sorry, I don't. I've been saying this for a while.
Like the entrance.
I text somebody like a week ago because they were saying something about Shinsuke, and I was like, this Boog stuff has to stop. And like, it just had nothing else to do with anything he said. I just interjected and said, like, this Boog stuff has to stop. Like, it's not fun anymore. Stop it. It was never fun.
Right. We got a couple more hump of chats. We got Ninja Morta says, this is for them Grapsody boys. Can't chat or super chat on YouTube, but I'm always supporting. How good was Yuta? I thought I was really happy for Yuta.
Oh yeah, that was tight.
I loved it.
I was really happy for him because I don't think you could have anticipated what the crowd was going to do there, regardless of how that moment played out. The fact that the crowd was into him before any of that played out at the end, I thought, like, holy shit, like that's what I'm just talking about.
Very
right? That,
smart to put him in a great tag match right before to get the crowd extra into what was going to happen. Brilliant.
I would not have anticipated, though, that San Antonio, here's the thing. I've been to Freeman Coliseum because I was at NXT TakeOver 2017 where Bobby Roode beat Shinsuke Nakamura for the NXT Championship. I was there at San Antonio. I've been in that building. The thing is, that's the first time AEW has ever been to San Antonio. So it's kind of easy to assume when you're in front of a new audience that you may not be dealing with AEW hardcores, right? So like, I would not, if I were planning that show, I would not have anticipated that that crowd would have been into anything but Jon Moxley and Bryan Danielson, because those two are well known.
You have to remember though, Texas, they do not fuck around.
I know. I forget about that, right? Because in Austin next week,
they love some pro wrestling out there in Texas, man. I'll tell you that.
In Austin, they're in Austin next week, right? Austin, they've been there twice now beforehand, and both times were incredibly hot. Like some of the hottest crowds AEW's had have been in the Austin, Texas crowd. So I'm curious to see how they do again.
Oh, that's funny. They were in Texas because I was tweeting. I love the crowd on Wednesday. I was tweeting how great the crowd was.
Yeah.
And that fucking Texas, man.
Next week is Austin. The
they
last
were hot
times
for everything, like how a crowd is supposed to be, not like trying to get themselves over, like being a pro wrestling crowd reacting to things that happen.
I don't know if you saw the video. Somebody tried to do the beach ball and they killed it.
Somebody
brought
awesome. That's amazing.
Somebody brought a beach ball. It bounced like twice, and then they were like, "Nope," snatched it out of the air. And we're like,
"The show, baby, we here for a show. This is beach balls for a boring ass show. This ain't a boring ass show. It's hot out here. It's going down.
Stop it! Don't bring your beach balls and your what chance. Get out of here.
Yeah.
Oh God. Leave your
I was happy to see that. But anyway, the point I was making though was like, I would not have anticipated that the crowd was going to get into Yuta, especially in there with Bryan Danielson and Jon Moxley. The fact that there's a big Yuta chant, and then when he gets in Regal's face, and the whole crowd is chanting Yuta, and I was like, yo, do something
Regal
with this now.
The dog shit
If you
Yuta. Oh my God.
That gif was great. That gif with Brian sliding in afterwards, like, what you gonna do about it though? Run up on Regal the wrong way, I might murk you.
For real, yo, straight up.
Like, if they didn't have a plan for Yuta yet, then they'd go, because look, that is a handsome dude for one, and for two, he's good in the ring. And three, like, now you have the missing piece and people are into him. Man. Yo, those are the three elements you need for a guy.
They put over his Iron Man match that he had with Dan Garcia on the show. Like, they're getting behind Yuta, man. He's doing it, and he's really great in the ring. So it's gonna work.
Yeah. Give him the graphic.
Need that Yuta graphic, man. Let's do it.
Yeah, I'm ready for that one because you got your moment. So no, I agree. Ninja Mortis, that was cool. Anwar says, y'all are doing a great job. Enjoy your weekends. D-Lo Diggs just dropping $10. Thank you, D-Lo.
What's up, D-Lo?
We gotta
get D-Lo Brown on this bad boy one day, man. You looking at the real deal now.
We gotta get Uncle D-Lo in here, man.
Huh. Well, it's funny that you okay. That's probably doable.
Will Washington.
I was
what he's saying.
I was like, that's doable though. That's actual kind of. Well, I was thinking about that, and I'm like, that's probably really doable.
We'll see you soon, D-Lo.
Chains of Misery said, Reg really trying to get Faye Jackson out of retirement.
Listen, the world needs it. Okay,
we need Faye Jackson, man. Come on.
I'm saying, come on, who doesn't want that?
Come on. Friend of the show, come on, come out of retirement for us, for your boys.
Life of Deem says, "Is this like the most consistent, boring booking of Raw and SmackDown? Like, even the Cody hype is cooled down. I'm not even amped. I'm probably skipping Mania for the first time in a while. I don't know if it's the most. I mean, because there have been some really bad periods.
But it's pretty bad.
It's probably the most boring in my experience watching wrestling.
Right."
I think part of it is because this is the period where we have the most options ever. I literally ordered and watched till 5 o'clock in the morning the TJ PW pay-per-view.
Talk about that a little bit. People were excited about that.
I was up last night watching it, and I didn't get to finish it, so I still have the main to watch. I mean, what is the thing? It's 5 hours long, right? And like it's a 5-hour show. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna be up late watching this as long as I can, and I watched a little bit of it this morning. And so I don't really get to have a full opinion other than wrestling's great. And there's never been a time to have more options, especially in women's wrestling. You've got the most women's wrestling options you could ever have. I will say that
it's beautiful.
Pay-per-view is only 900 yen, which is like $7. So,
man, Maki Ito has been on a tear since she came back from the U.S. Really looking forward to her eventually coming back to the U.S. because I feel like there's definitely a crowd that wants to see her here.
Yeah. But either way, there's a lot.
Will Washington had at least 10 tickets to Revolution. He went to the show and he still purchased the show on his phone to watch. That's how much this man loves pro wrestling. He had about 25 free tickets. He went to the show, saw it with his eyes, and he still purchased it. That's how much this man loves pro wrestling. It's pro wrestling. We out here.
I spent a lot of money on pro wrestling. Look behind me. Literally look behind me right now. And it ain't just behind me. I'm also holding the belt in my hand.
Why do you have that
in your hand? Why are you holding it?
I don't know. I went to pick it up. It was sitting in this chair right here, and then I went to pick it up to put it away, and I'm like, oh shit, it's time to start Grapsody. So it's been sitting in my lap this whole time. It's been sitting in my lap this whole time.
Damn champion.
Yeah. So.
The Sheeta match. You watched the Sheeta match?
I got to the entrance, and then I was like, all right, I need to give this my. No, it's not the main event, but it's right after intermission, and I was like, I want to give this my undivided attention, so I'm gonna finish watching it pretty much when we're done here. And I might order the Ice Ribbon show tonight, so there's that too.
Man, support Joshi Wrestling, man.
Yeah, support Joshi Wrestling. Anyway, Ten Ruza says, hey, from Melbourne, Australia, guys. You guys are awesome. Come down under sometime soon. Seeing Janela here in Australia in July with Cardona as well. Yeah, you know what? So many people know.
He already has vacations.
No. I was thinking about this because I was like, you know what? Most people know that my wrestling companion is my boy Theron Reynolds. I did the first episode of Day After Dynamite with him, and he was at Revolution with me.
Great guy.
Both Phil and Reg have met him.
We had some great laughs for sure.
Yeah. No. T is my guy. I love T. So T spent a number of years living in Australia when he was a kid because his dad was in the military, so he moved around, but he was in Australia for years, and so he's talked about for a while going back. And I don't know. I was just thinking like maybe we should plan something.
That'd be kind of fun.
Hit up T like after this, and like he knows because I know he was in Australia when the Power Rangers movie was filmed. That's the other thing. Me and T are big obsession. We've only gotten a hand to do one of them. We're both obsessed with pro wrestling, and we are like obsessed with Power Rangers. That is our big thing, right? So like he was living in Australia when the Power Rangers movie was filmed, which was filmed in Australia. So it was like that was how they dressed up Angel Grove. Was like, this is actually Sydney, Australia, but it's a city most Americans haven't seen. So as far as we're concerned, this is Angel Grove. Yeah, I don't know. Speaking of which, and Phil, you're a Power Rangers guy too. We should do a Power Rangers podcast. We should the Grapsody bonus.
Come on, content, you guys. Yes. Grapsody Patreon question mark.
I am a big Power Rangers guy. Are you kidding me? I don't know if you can see that right here. That's my original Falcon Zord right there. That's an original. I'm pretty sure. I've got look at that. That's Andros, the Red Ranger from In Space. So, and I think it's also got Astronema with it as well. Big Power Rangers guy here. How did I ever get married, by the way?
That's why they say there's somebody for everybody out there. Short guys I was talking about yesterday. Look, short guys, you're out here too. There's somebody for you. Don't worry. Yeah, there's somebody for everybody, even if you're a big fucking nerd, even if you're a murderer, oddly enough. So
we're trying to marry off murderers now?
Hey, I'm saying, if
you ever seen
like murderers?
I know, right? I know a lot of women who are like obsessed with like watching murderers, and it's like, if I just gotten to know him.
What's the guy on Netflix?
Lady,
Ted Bundy or whatever. They were thirsting over Ted Bundy on
yeah.
Thirsting over.
Come on, guys. Be safe.
They were thirsting over Ted Bundy.
Thurston, this guy's a murderer. What are y'all talking about? Well, if he seems like a pretty nice guy. I don't know.
No, come on.
He murdered somebody.
Come on.
Let's see. We got iChurch Pastor Blaster says, "Hey family, just showing some love. Thank you. We always appreciate it."
Yes, thank you.
Monique says, "Jade tweeting a bathing suit pic. Hashtag we're blessed."
I had to lay down after that one. Boy, I tell you. Oh, my goodness gracious. Jade
Tremaine
was cutting up on Twitter, man, this week.
She was, definitely.
So what did I hear from Reg?
All kinds of shit. I don't know. I said all kind of stuff.
Yeah. And Brendan said, "Reg's comments plus Phil's reactions are comedy gold."
Wait, so somebody tweeted the other day that was like, watching you react. I was like, you guys have no idea. Conversations we have off mic. It is it is nothing compared to what we have here sometimes. Yeah. I've never been in the same room with Reg, but every now and then I'm like, this guy, man. Well, I'm looking forward to Dallas, man.
Yeah. It's funny that yeah, we've had multiple combinations, but these two never actually been in the same place. So that's gonna be dope to have the three of us together. That's
what's so great about pro wrestling, man. I know there's a lot of extracurriculars, a lot of bullshit, a lot of wild shit that goes on here, but there's a lot of good. Sometimes you just like get together for a weekend with your people and have a great time. And it's great, and everybody's having fun, everybody's going out and doing things together, and it's a great time. It's like, vacation with a bunch of friends.
Hold on, I gotta give one to King Omega in the chat. It's not a super chat, but he said, "This is Reg's ether." Hey, somebody do it.
Been on my dick, man. You love my style, man.
Hey, somebody do it. I want that whole rant with ether behind it.
I'm just talking, man. I don't like to be fucking threatened, man. That's crazy.
He said, "Don't fuck with Reg."
Wrestling, man. I'm trying to be good out here.
Yeah, listen. Stop threatening people over wrestling. Stop calling people coons over wrestling. Stop all that slave talk. I've had about enough of that. Now, at this point, every time I see that now, I'm gonna call you out. Don't call me a coon over wrestling.
No,
don't say any of this slave master talk to me, bro. Like,
come on,
it's pro wrestling,
bro.
It's wrestling, you guys.
This is professional wrestling. This is not real shit.
We're trying to have fun, man.
It is fun. Yes, keep it fun. Brendan says, "Righteous is a perfect adjective for Reg." Preach.
Double R, yes. It's your boy. It's me.
Let's see. We got Derek says, "Shout out to Private Party. No more kids for you."
Oh, that Private Party and Hardy Boys match was tight. I love that.
Was great,
shit.
Man.
Yeah.
Them staring straight to the camera and saying that.
So good. Yeah. I loved it. They looked, like I said on Twitter, Private Party looked like they were having the most fun you could ever have in a ring with your idols, and you get to get hit by all the spots that you've grown up watching, man. They were just they looked like kids in a candy store, man.
And shout out Chris Van Vliet, said you guys are rocking, keep up the great work.
Oh, shout out to Chris, man. That's a big name, man. Big name talent out here, man. Shout out to him. He got those interviews on deck.
Who checks in the building?
I'm saying, man.
So thanks for being in the chat, Chris.
Yes.
But yeah. So, what else we got? Okay, this is one you wanted to talk about. You know what's funny is I didn't even have to change this one because it was the number 3 topic from last week. But now we're going to. So it had an exclamation point last week. We're gonna put a question mark here instead. So it's gonna be Jeff Hardy. So Jeff Hardy. Shout out to my boy Jon Alba. Who is just killing it. You're absolutely killing it.
We were with Jon Alba in Revolution. That's so funny. His name's all over the internet. I'm like, we were running and getting in front of everybody in the front of the line with Jon Alba.
Oh yeah. That was the scheme.
We were scheming to get to the front of the line with Jon Alba.
Yeah. No, shout out Jon Alba though. Jon Alba, cool as hell. And he has been killing it with pretty much the entire Matt Hardy project. This week had an interview with Jeff Hardy that dropped
this week. Got some headlines, I tell you, boy. Man, Jeff
Yes.
Hardy. Okay, so it's been both sides of the coins. People are either like Jeff Hardy's dumb or Jeff Hardy's great. He talked about this famous match in WWE at this house show. He said, I was in the match, I hit all my spots, and I was ready to go. So I just hit my spots, left the ring, and that was it. And so people are like, "You're unprofessional."
His statement after that, though, his statement after that, where he said, I figured they're not gonna do anything to me. I'm Jeff Hardy. So he didn't think there was even gonna. He didn't think there was gonna be a consequence for that at all. It was like, I did my spot in the match. I wasn't feeling it, so I left.
I mean, and in hindsight, they really wasn't. They were trying to get him back. So it's like he was kind of right.
So here's the thing. So I see a lot of people are doing this weird internet thing. They did the same thing with the Swole thing where, okay, I saw a quote somewhere here, and I didn't watch the interview. If you watch the interview, the tone is so different.
Yeah.
And people are running with this. It's the smartest thing I've ever done. They're just taking that part of it and acting like, all right, well, he did this to get released. John asked him specifically in the interview, did you do this to get released? And he said no. That's your answer, guys. Stop making up conspiracies. Stop assuming. He answered your question. Now, could he be not telling the truth? We don't know. But he gave you your answer.
The fact that he said he didn't think anything would happen as a result of that is like, yeah, no way.
Yeah, so the story is this was the house show in Dallas, or not Dallas, it was in Texas in December. And, he finished up his spots, he left, and then that led to, of course, the erratic behavior, and then he got reprimanded. That led to them drug testing him and telling him that he needs to go to rehab or they're going to release him. He ended up getting released. Then they got the test results, which they tried to withhold from him. And then once they got the test results back and saw that they passed, they tried to rehire him. They tried to offer him a Hall of Fame spot. And at that point, he was offended which I feel him. He was like, no, I don't want it. And so, my thing with all of this is whether you think what he did was okay or not, leaving that match, what they did is not okay. Them trying to withhold his test results and smear his name, essentially, and him having to bring a lawyer in to get his results. And yeah, that's not okay. And I've seen people say, well, both sides handled it bad. There's a power dynamic here, guys. Like,
yes,
a company has more of a power than Jeff Hardy does. They control the narrative here. They control what his image looks like going out the door. So yes, it is worse for them to try and smear his name going out the door and then rehire him and not clearing it up. He had to clear it up himself. So yeah,
listen, it's a stupid house show match, and they're trying to act like this is the most unprofessional thing they've ever seen. A company that released like 200 wrestlers very recently. You want to talk about unprofessional? A guy that we saw jump off a 30-foot ladder and destroy his body for this company that would immediately after withhold his drug test and create a narrative or put him in a match in a bar when he has all this. Like, you talk about professional. Like, let's talk about professional then. Like, his one compared to their 100 unprofessional things that they've done to him. So, like, let's relax on talking about professional with the fucking WWE.
And he did everything they asked him to when he came back. He did that bar match. He did all of the goofy addiction stuff that they asked him to do. He never complained about it. I don't know. I can see why people don't like what he did. And they're saying it's unprofessional. Is it fair to the people he worked with in that match? Probably not. But at the same time,
it does not matter. It's a fucking house show. Even if it was on Raw, it wouldn't matter. These shits don't matter. We move on next week, and it does not matter.
I do think it would have been different if he walked out on a televised match.
Yeah, definitely. But he didn't because he knew. I've been to 1,000. I've seen the worst match of my life. The Big Show versus Kane at a house show in Bakersfield. The worst shit I've ever seen. That's 20 times
They didn't chain wrestle at that match?
No, they didn't. I don't know what the fuck they did. That's 20 times worse than what Jeff Hardy did. I would rather see Jeff Hardy work.
We wouldn't have even known about this house show incident. We wouldn't have even known about it if they didn't handle it the way that they did.
I mean, because you'd be surprised. Like, I think a lot of people don't attend house shows and don't recognize that.
They don't know what was going on. Like, there. Those shows are someone else.
Like, there's a lot. Like, I'm not saying walking out on a match is the way to do it, right? But there is a lot of kind of a more laid back atmosphere at house shows where like the talent knows they're not working for cameras. And so in that sense, unless they're being told specifically this is being taped, that's the different story. But for the most part, it's so lax. It's so like
there's that clip of like Undertaker running across the apron. It's like a very famous gif, I think. And he's like, it's of a house show, and he's like being silly. He's not being the Undertaker because it's at a house show and no one's fucking filming it. No one was like, "Oh my god, Undertaker killed this fucking kayfabe with one house show appearance." No, it's.
Have you ever seen?
Nobody cares.
I will say one of the biggest things I could recommend actually is the New Day at a house show are fucking fun. Those dudes, they just have fun at house shows and in ways where like stuff they can't do or say on TV. Hey, ain't nobody recording this. Who gives a fuck? And they they have fun.
House show in so long.
Like you ever seen the clip of Kevin Owens just like shit talking that fan while he's got Roman Reigns in the headlock? Roman Reigns is like trying not to laugh, and like Roman like covers his face, just dying laughing because Kevin Owens is just talking shit to a fan. Wow. Do you see that clip of Kevin Owens is like, "I make more money than you. As a matter of fact, my last check had blah," and he's just talking about his whole merch check while he's got Roman Reigns in the headlock. Roman Reigns is just like covering his face, just like laughing his ass off. House shows, honestly, are fun. They're laid back, relaxed atmosphere that don't have necessarily like when you talk about unprofessional. It's kind of all unprofessional, but like I said, I'm not using this to say that walking out on a match is the way to go. But I am saying this is treating this like he did this on TV. Huge difference, and I've had shit happen on TV, by the way. Hardcore Holly flipped me off once he knew the cameras were off as a babyface. Hardcore Holly once came over, gave me the middle finger when he knew the cameras were off during a Raw commercial break.
I don't know why you was beefing with Hardcore Holly.
Now? What's going on?
It was a Raw in 2008. And I was just not a fan of Hardcore Holly for whatever reason. And in hindsight, even looking back at 08, I'm like, why was I so mean to Hardcore Holly? He didn't mean nothing.
Beautiful drop kick, bro. What's wrong with you?
Hardcore Holly just out here trying to get his, man. Brock Lesnar broke his neck.
Man. But no,
that man flipped me off though. There wasn't no reason. I was like aggressively booing, and I brought this sign that was really for Triple H, but like it just said "Worst Champion Ever," which is actually in Vince McMahon's Titantron, by the way. Me holding that sign, but I held it up for Hardcore Holly also because he was one half of the tag team. He was one half of the tag team champions at the time, and I hold this sign up for Hardcore Holly, and like he sees it, it is like mad. And and like when he knew the cameras were off, he like goes over to my section, like intentionally starts giving people fives, and he's like high five, high five, high. Hey, fuck you. High five.
Pissed off Hardcore Holly. It's crazy.
Wow.
Who was his partner? His tag team.
Cody Rhodes.
Cody Rhodes.
Who was that guy?
Which is funny because that's the next topic.
Wow.
So,
what a transition.
But yeah, I think people are missing that context of that house shows are more laxed. And I mean, again, as Will said, that's not to say that we are also saying that what Jeff did is great, but I don't think it's as bad as people are trying to make it.
Knowing everything I know about this company and professional wrestling, this was not unprofessional. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you guys are, he hard on money. Shut up. Whatever. This is more WWE's fault than Jeff Hardy's fault.
I mean, when you listen to the accounts from the show, though, when he walked through the crowd, he was taking pictures with people. He was high-fiving people. It wasn't like he walked out and just like started slamming things.
He didn't say, fuck you guys. He said,
no, he just was like, I'm done. I'm done for the night. I did my part in this match. I'm done. And hey, could he have handled it better? Maybe. But I don't think it's as bad as people are making it out to be. And
I don't think he could have handled it better. I think he handled it exactly how he should have. I hate when people say, he could have handled it better. What's handling it better? Them holding him hostage for 2 years? Fuck off. This got him released. He's now somewhere else. It's the fucking Hardy.
By the way, just want to say again, wasn't his intention to get released that way. It just happened. It was just, as he said, blessing in disguise for him. So
they didn't want him anyways.
Man, it was interesting if you listen to that whole interview of him talking about how excited he was at Survivor Series because, man, people were into him with the Seth stuff, and you would have thought he should have been Roman's next challenger, and it just never happened.
So many people were saying that at the time. They were like, "Oh, there's not a lot of challengers, but there is Jeff Hardy." I remember a lot of people saying that.
That would have been a cool matchup too.
Yep.
Listen, I started working at Jiffy Lube. Everybody knows what Jiffy Lube is. Oil change, blah, blah, blah. I worked at Jiffy Lube for 4 hours. The boss didn't say one word to me. I went home for lunch and I never came back. Fuck that job, bro. Fuck that job. Righteous Reg, this is what I always leave people with. They don't put your fucking resume on your tombstone. When you're dead, they're not going to be like, oh, this person was really fucking trustworthy to the WWE. No, it's going to say this guy's dead. Fuck that job. That job ain't shit. When you're dead, it's not going to be about that stupid job. Live your life. Hey. Rihanna
Speaking of jobs, by the way.
Speaking of getting the bags.
Yeah. So, Cody Rhodes.
This has been
PW Insider. Mike Johnson broke the story that which, you know, here's the thing: once contracts are signed and they're in the system, pretty hard to hide that stuff because office people leak that stuff all the time. So this was one of those. Now that it's signed and it's there, Cody Rhodes is in the company. He is a WWE superstar. And it's been pretty much written onto the WrestleMania run sheet for a long time that he is facing Seth Rollins. It was just a matter of how we get there. But Cody back in WWE. This is it.
Yep. And I like what they're doing here. I think he's going to show up at WrestleMania, not before, and I think that's going to be better in the long run.
Yeah, that'll probably be a big moment for him. I keep trying to play it out in my head how it's going to look, and I can't because so much of what I picture for Cody Rhodes is his AEW persona. I'm like, okay, you know, when I was thinking about in Jacksonville, is he going to show up on Raw? Like, the light's going to go out, and then we get the and then he rises from the Cody Vader, and then we get all the pyro and the music. Is that what's about to happen? I thought, no.
Holy moly.
I thought about that because I'm like, no, because the epic part of the intro was made by Mikey Ruckus. That is owned by AEW. The song is not. The current version of the song.
So you think he's going to use Kingdom?
I don't know. Cody has taken that song multiple places. He used that in Impact.
I want him to.
I don't know if Kingdom fits his WWE character so much.
But is he going to be his WWE character? Or is he going to come out? Is he going to come out with the jacket and like, you know, what's he going to do? Because the thing is, regardless of what he was in WWE, the fact is, the man's got a giant American Nightmare tattoo on his neck. He is the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes. He is not dashing Cody Rhodes. He is not, but he can't be any of that no more. He can't be smoking mirrors. He can't be wearing the mask. What's he gonna do? This is a man with the American Nightmare logo on his neck. He is the American Nightmare.
He can be something that'll cover all that up.
No.
You won't see none of that little tattoo with the face paint and the damn leather Goldust suit. I'm telling you.
Oh my God!
If Cody comes out as Stardust, he better raise hell, boy. Oh my God.
I mean, honestly, like, I am so curious about this.
They could take so many different angles of it, right?
Because, like, you know, I saw Louis' tweet earlier where he had said, you know, Cody's doing what's best for his family, you know, all of that. And I think he's specifically missing why this is such a jarring story. Because, like, when you think about Cody Rhodes and you think about all the things that Cody Rhodes kind of made a name for himself doing, he ain't going to get to do none of that in WWE.
It's
like,
different.
Cody has been the big promo guy, but, like, the promos that he's written, right? Like, those are his promos. Unless he got it, like, written into his contract that he gets to write his own promos, he's not that promo guy, right?
No, if he goes up and he's like, yo, I need 15 for this promo, they're going to be like, 15 of what? Not in this fucking show.
It's going to be, all right, you get it's like, okay, you get your 15-minute promo, but shout out to my cat who just walked in. But you get your 15-minute promo, but just make sure that you say "Welcome to Monday Night Raw" and don't say "fan," say WWE Universe. And like,
it's gonna be like a fucking Mad Libs or something. Like, put your
right.
little thing in there.
Yeah, and so like, and thinking about how this man set himself on fire, literally just like 3 months ago. This man did a moonsault off a cage. This man was bleeding every single match.
Yeah, no more blood. The blood is done. He's not bleeding anymore. It's over.
But yeah, I don't know. I think it's kind of like if you watch a guy that's like a big indie rapper for like the last few years, go, man, I'm not signing with anybody. I'm doing my own thing here. Like I'm controlling my own message, and then all of a sudden they just sign with Def Jam. It's like,
yeah,
okay, cool.
Right.
And so it's kind of
like we know what's about to happen at Def Jam, bro. Like, are you sure?
I mean, and that's not a knock at Benny, by the way.
No, of course not. Yes, I think so too. Fucking Tenor Talk 4 is insane.
But yeah, man, I am curious how this is gonna go. Shame on you, Cody Rhodes, for getting me to watch Raw this week. I will never forgive you for that. No, just playing. I did watch it. I was just sitting there the whole time, like, all right, he's gonna come out at the end, right? And then I sat there at the end, and I was like, what was that? It was like the crusty, like, what?
Do you think they're gonna try to? You think they're gonna try to tease that he's coming to one of these Raws before?
They've been teasing it every week. They teased it after.
I mean, they have been teasing it for a while. Yeah.
Right.
So like, I think. I had tweeted and I got a bunch of people who mentioned saying, the hype's not dead. It's not so much that the hype is dead. I do, and I don't, because it's going to be a moment. When Cody shows up, it is going to be a moment because it's still going to feel so surreal seeing Cody Rhodes back in WWE. Right. I do think that, when I think about some impactful debuts, thinking about Scott Hall, we just talked about that, right? And how like part of what made that so impactful was that it happened so fast. It was like, wait a minute, this dude was literally just on WWF television last week. All of a sudden he's coming out on WCW. That's how fast that happened. WWE had the ability to, like, Cody Rhodes got out with a no non-compete clause.
He could have did that.
Yeah, they could have done that, right? Like he was just the TNT champion, and they said he's been signed for like 2 or 3 weeks. Now, I take all that back because I'm pretty sure, and I think trying to choose my words carefully here because I don't want to break a story here. I'm pretty sure Go Big Show had something to do with him not debuting. In that because Go Big Show just ended, I think, a week ago.
I thought I heard that he needed to wait until it ended.
Yeah. So
I mean that would make the most sense.
Yeah. So
I think
that's
out
back
there. I don't think you're breaking. I've seen that out there.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought I read that somewhere.
Yeah. Okay. As long as it wasn't our group chat.
Yeah. No. I've seen this.
Okay. Good. But yeah, because I don't know. But I did feel like the moment was huge when it came out that shout out Fightful Select. The story was dropped. Cody Rhodes, free agent. He's working without a contract despite being the TNT champion. Then he loses the belt to Sammy Guevara. And then AEW announces he's actually officially left the company, period. And like there was all this buzz about what's going to happen. What is AEW without Cody Rhodes? Cody Rhodes has been the face of the company for a long time. Matter of fact, they're still... they updated the Rampage intro a couple weeks ago to replace Cody Rhodes' voice saying this is Rampage and then put it back. So this week, his voice, the opening of Rampage this week is Cody Rhodes saying this is Rampage. He's been the face of AEW since the company launched. So there was all these questions of what's the company going to be without him and what would it be like him showing up. And I feel like, the AEW questions kind of got answered in the fact that they had their second most bought pay-per-view and one of their most revered cards that went by. Matter of fact, the 2 most bought AEW pay-per-views did not have Cody Rhodes on them. And so, like, that question kind of got answered. And I don't know. I am looking forward to what Cody Rhodes does. I think it's going to be very interesting. I think it's going to be very cool. And I am just the idea of it being... Just the idea of it happening, because we don't know what it's going to be like.
Raw was in Jacksonville next week. It is where this week? It is in
Chi-town.
Chicago, Illinois.
Pull
I
up,
don't know
Philip.
I don't know if you're gonna trick me into going, Cody. Because I don't think you're gonna show up. I don't know, man.
He tricked you into watching the show last week. Now he's gonna trick you into watching a live one. Come on, man, pull up. Feels like
Yeah,
I'm good.
I don't know.
I'm good here.
I don't know,
Fuck all
man.
that. I get it. Nah, I get it.
Nah, man. I still think it's hilarious. Like right after Raw went off, I had several people send me your rant walking out of Raw.
That's how I feel every week, man. That's how I felt last night watching fucking SmackDown, just being like, yo.
I mean, at least on SmackDown, there is some enjoyable stuff.
There was some
man.
good
Raw,
stuff. The Sasha and Naomi shit was hot. I loved it. They're dope.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
There's a couple things.
Raw is just so long. I think that's a part of it for me. It's like you gotta invest so much time to watch Raw. Mm-hmm. That 3 hours just
it's a lot of investment, man. Oh my god, it drags like a son of a bitch. Holy shit.
That said, so couple more things to talk about. So our number one, of course, is
our homie.
That's right. Hey, I just realized we are followed by both women's champions in AEW, aren't we? But number one.
Yeah, boys.
Dun, 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 dun. Rosa is the AEW Women's World Champion, and she's got that great new belt.
Yes.
Do I have room for that? I would love to have that belt. I gotta get a new shelf for that. But Thunder Rosa,
big, huge, super duper huge moment here in San Antonio. AEW Dynamite main event. Cage match, women's champion Britt Baker. There's history. They've been building this match for a long time. They started it out. They had the band for Thunder Rosa. They played some great Mexican music.
That was a great mariachi.
Beautiful.
Like that was really cool. All women's mariachi, by the way.
Yes.
So
great way to bring Thunder to the scene. And people we talked about Thunder a lot on this podcast, how when she used to be on Rampage and she would bring the crowd back, as soon as her theme hits, it's lit. Same thing here. As soon as her theme hits, crowd goes nutty. People have been wanting this moment for a long time. Thunder's been setting herself up to get this fucking win. And so they go in here, her and Britt Baker, and they have the matches that her and Britt Baker have. It's brutal. There's all kinds of stuff. There's chairs, there's thumbtacks, there's bumps off the cage, there's blood, there's all kinds of stuff. This is a perfect, great title-changing main event here with Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker.
Man, so I saw that the pay-per-view match got a lot of hate. A lot of people didn't enjoy the championship match from the pay-per-view, and I'm just one of those guys where I feel like, if you're gonna have people pay for a match, you should give them some payoff, and that's why I didn't enjoy that one as much, because I'm like, all right, well, you're gonna give the payoff to them on TV, and that's cool, but it's like, why did I pay to watch the pay-per-view to watch that match then if you're not gonna give us?
Yeah.
But with that said,
I understand that.
With that said, I feel like the payoff here was worth it. I feel like this match was great. The crowd was amazing, not just for Thunder Rosa, but it was really cool to see the women get that reception in the main event because they did deserve it. And I feel like Britt, as champion, has brought a lot to the division. She's been an impactful champion, whether that been giving the other women spots in the main event with her, having the first ever cage match to end her reign. Man,
I don't think you could have done a better job than what Britt Baker did as AEW Women's Champion. Like, she hit everything she needed to hit. She knocked it all out of the park, man. She was a great Women's Champion.
Yeah, whether or not, I know she's got her detractors, and a lot. She has a lot of them. Yeah, but I said that last week. History tends to be more kind to people in hindsight than it is at the time.
Exactly.
Case in point, there's a section of the internet that doesn't even know about Cena hate. It's weird.
That doesn't even make sense to me.
That doesn't even make sense.
Somebody tweeted, all I know is Cena hate. You know what I mean?
Right. But now that his career is all in hindsight, it's like, nah, John Cena, he's the greatest. And so I think Britt's brain will be looked at fondly. But at the fact of the matter is, there was a lot that went down with her reign that I think can be seen historically. That the 2 Pittsburgh events that they did last summer in August, she was on the poster for 'em. There was nobody else on the poster. Not a single other wrestler on those posters. It was literally just Britt Baker is here. We're going to sell you some tickets. And that worked. The fact is, you brought all those people to the arena, spinning their Britt Baker towels, and that worked. Grand Slam was the biggest event AEW ever put on, largest crowd they've ever had. They sent out Ruby Soho and Britt Baker last. Like, there's a lot of things. The Battle of the Belts, the first ever Battle of the Belts that went down. They sent out Britt Baker and Riho last. The first Rampage was Britt Baker and Red Velvet.
Yep.
Like, the fact is, her reign has a lot of milestones in it. That whether or not you feel a certain way about Britt Baker, the fact is, like, the reign itself has milestones, and the way that it ended in a main event in a steel cage match, first women's steel cage match in AEW main event. That's another milestone. Her reign was the milestone reign.
Yeah, and I mean, you got to. I know people are like, "Oh, all of her matches start to become the same. It's a lot of interference." That's very true. Her matches did get stale towards the end.
That was supposed to be the point, by the way, of the steel cage match, was that she's finally at a point where she can't have the interference.
Right, but and to that point, I do think at the beginning of her reign, they had this issue with her because she was still a heel, but she was getting cheered the loudest. Like, she was clearly the biggest star in that division by the time she was champion, and she was getting cheered. Like, look at the Pittsburgh match. Like, Red Velvet's supposed to be the face in that match, and she is getting booed because Britt Baker is so over.
Yeah,
and so,
I don't feel like she's all that recovered from that, by the way. I feel like when I see Red Velvet's music hit, there's a section of fans that still boo. And I'm almost like, I would like to see what Red Velvet does as a heel.
Me too. Agree. But yeah, that's why I'm saying, you know.
And also, go ahead, Phil.
Yeah, I do think once you get here and you finally got fans to boo her, I do think that was the purpose of having all the interference matches and, you know, making people get tired of her shtick. That was the whole point. And when I see people like, oh, her matches were the same, that was kind of the point, to get you to want her to lose. And
if you know anything about pro wrestling, every pro wrestler's match is the same. Even Bryan Danielson. It's just how they break it down. It's called pro wrestling.
We got to wrap here soon. We got to wrap here soon, though, so I just want to say shout out Thunder Rosa. I'm really happy for Thunder Rosa. I'm really happy she got that moment.
Well deserved.
Well deserved. And I want to see what she does with the belt. Who steps up? We got to have a new slate of contenders all of a sudden. They got shows coming up in Pittsburgh here in just a few weeks. Do we run it back with her on the other side? I don't know. Because Britt's going to be the babyface.
Thunder's been setting up a nice little feud in Warrior Wrestling with someone named Athena. They had an amazing match very recently. So, yeah.
That's
There's
right.
things
she
they
just
can
relinquished the Warrior Wrestling title as well.
One more quick thing I wanted to talk about. Shout out Monique, says Rampage main event last night was golden. Love seeing Black Kings getting that spot. I'm looking forward to see where they take the Hobbs, Stark, Swerve, Lee storyline. I very much did want to talk about that because, yeah, are you kidding me? I was all smiles through that segment on Dynamite that started with the Acclaimed getting interrupted by Team Taz, and then Swerve shows up. You showed me that a year ago, I'd have been like, what? And so the fact that... and if you showed me
this, segments on Rampage and Dynamite, that's what they are. This is a Grapsody segment.
Yeah, this was a Grapsody segment. That main event, Keith Lee, I think Max Caster was the perfect person to bump for him, but still give him some offense. Keith Lee beats him, though, and then we get to the post-match, and Swerve runs down. So they let Swerve and Keith Lee send the entire show home. And I thought that was really cool. I don't know if you guys saw the post-match stuff, but it seems like they're setting up Swerve versus Ricky Starks.
Listen, are we gonna have a conversation? There's a cultural shift happening here, and I've been watching it for the last 3 weeks. Look, the last week's Dynamite was the blackest episode of Dynamite. You had all three title matches with black men in it. You had Red Velvet this week I thought she had a great match with Layla on Rampage. Yeah, I feel like there's a cultural shift happening, and that's not me, trying to say, AEW is Wakanda now. I'm not that guy.
Don't reason to say any of that.
I'm saying that you could see that the influx of black talent that are coming in right now, you could see something special is happening. I hope that continues, and I think it's a good thing.
Look, I said back in January, on the January 1st episode, I said one of the things that fans need is to have their hands held. And the thing is, I have directly said this to Tony Khan. I said that
thanks, Will.
Part of the things that people appreciated about AEW was that you could kind of get a feel for who was up next. For 2 years, you watched, you knew Hangman was up next. You knew that MJF was going to rise. We've been watching just for the last 3 months. We could feel Wardlow was getting his rise, right? And I said that fans kind of need their hand held because they don't necessarily need a champion right away today. But what they do need to feel is that the company is behind somebody, and that they need to feel that the company is behind a black talent, because that was the thing they hadn't felt yet. And
now you have 4 guys that can all be AEW World Champions.
I am seeing that shift right now. That's the thing that I'm seeing right now, that it does feel like, Scorpio Sky is TNT champion, but at the same time, it does feel like there is a need to protect Keith Lee to make sure he gets where he's going. It does feel like, they're bringing out Swerve to pop crowds. They're doing the Who's House, Swerve's House stuff. It does feel like he's somebody they're behind. But then Ricky Starks also has been really protected as of late.
Yeah. I've said for a long time that Starks could be the first black AEW World Champion for sure.
So,
and the big homie, you never forget about the big homie. He is always out here. He still gets big pops when he comes out. Everybody loves his presence and what he does. And that spine buster that he did last week on Keith Lee was so fire.
I think the thing the thing I loved more than anything in that segment last night is how nobody felt out of place. That we had 2 guys who were previously in WWE and Swerve and Keith Lee, but at the same time, they did not feel above Ricky Starks or Will Hobbs. And so, I love seeing all that.
Stars.
I was all smiles through that segment. I was all smiles through that ending. Excited to see how this plays out. I love it. I'm happy. Derek Gordon says, Gail Kim literally eliminated herself from a battle royal because she was done with WWE's bullshit. Some people were just ready to be let go.
Loved it.
She did do that. Shot Kid 29 says, listening in the background while out because you guys are the best. Also, just ran into Dan Barry while at my local mall getting new kicks. Ricardo the bad guy says, watching late, here is some love, thank you. Fantasy book from Furthausen says, TK buys out Ali's contract, ROH Supercar, Ali versus Gresham main event.
Hope.
No, I'm not even gonna, we can't. There's no hope for that.
We're not gonna be using our shit in court.
Brendan says, as someone who has followed Thunder Rosa since NWA Power, it made me so happy to see her get her flowers. Man. My favorite wrestler, she's so charismatic. Hunter says, who do you Thunder to feud with next?
There's some options. There's
options.
I would say Ruby's a good option.
I want to see
2 faces.
Black wearing Chris Statlander. There's places you can go with that now.
Black wearing. Phil was like,
"Hey, look,
she does not look different." I love that last.
Hey, look, that was
push it.
Look, that was an incredibly black episode of Rampage last night, right? We had that main event segment, right? We had Red Velvet, we had House of Black, and we had Chris Statlander wearing black. So, really,
black on black. And shout out AEW before we go. Black women's TBS champion, Mexican woman AEW women's champion. That's huge.
And my man Scorpio.
Yeah.
Scorpio. RH says, I legit popped off my couch when Swerve came down the ramp. I was screaming, Swerve and Keith Lee, holy shit.
Yeah, that's a pretty amazing moment. We loved it. I was going like, crazy.
And last
I loved
one.
it.
Question, it's from Ralph Marion. Have y'all heard about Battle Slam happening next month in
Have we heard
ATL?
about- Baron Black is the homie. Of course we have.
Just
And
a
if so, y'all
little
going?
bit.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. I told Baron Black I'm not
like that-
fucking showing up if I'm not booked, and I haven't been booked. Baron Black, come on, man. I thought it rap and wrestling, bro.
I was right there, by the way. This man told that to Baron Black's
I told
face.
it to his face. Yeah, no, that was real. That's not a joke. Yeah. And I told him again
So,
in
yeah,
his
no, we
DMs
had-
like 3 days ago. Baron Black.
Man, man, you hit him with the Kanye, man. If you wanna fuck with him, tell you like his music, man.
And Brendan says Deonna Purrazzo winner take all for Rosa next.
I don't know about all that.
Yeah.
I am
No,
very curious
no,
to see
no.
what Deonna's
You're not
match is
gonna.
be
But
at Supercard.
you're not gonna see the winner takes all. Just stop. It's
No.
not gonna happen.
No winner
But,
takes all.
Hey, except in the biggest WrestleMania main event of all time, which is coming up in 2 weeks, and that's a great note to wrap up this show on and say that's it for this edition of Grapsody. I'm Will Washington for Philip Lindsey for Righteous Reg. We will see you next time and have a great day.